Welcome to the Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. So much to cover today. I want to talk about this Kamala Harris voter that firebombed the government building where ICE is located, the federal building in New York City yesterday. And we know for a fact he is a Kamala Harris voter. That is not even up for debate. Because the FBI under Kash Patel, under Todd Blanche, and under the greatest president ever, Donald Trump, they don't run and wipe clean someone's social media footprint to cover up who they are, like the old FBI did in the Biden regime, in the Obama regime, in the old school deep state FBI. Because, these acts of just horrific domestic terrorism like this happen, and more often than not, they're liberals, or there was some liberal allied group, but they're always leftist. And so they go and wipe their social media footprint so they can't be identified as what they are. Well, that didn't happen because we've got real people, real Americans running the federal government, the Justice Department, the FBI, and the White House. And this guy, we know 100% for sure that he is a Kamala Harris voter because when he voted, he took a picture of his ballot and he posted it to social media, right? So that's what you got there. So we have, without question, a leftist, a Democrat, a Kamala Harris voter, and that's why this story is going to disappear and maybe already disappeared. I may be the only one covering this and this guy this morning. But we've got a major problem in this country with left-wing violence. That's just the reality of it. And every time it comes up, they want to tell you that, oh no, this is not left wing. Most of the violence is right wing. Where is this right wing bias? This violence that they're always talking about. This right wing violence that I hear CNN and all the rest constantly reference. Where is this right wing violence? All the violence we're seeing in this country today is coming from the left, like this domestic terrorist yesterday. And the reason it's happening is because they're being encouraged to do it by liberals like the one and only mayor of New York City. Remember the guy yesterday, the Democrat, Antifa, leftist Kamala Harris voter yesterday, bombed the governmental center.
I believe that ICE is a cruel agency who has very little interest, if any at all, in public safety. And I believe it's a rogue agency that should be abolished. I believe that...
See, now, isn't that something? Now, this is huge. He believed... Mamdani says that ICE, that's who was targeted yesterday and firebombed in New York City yesterday. So he says it's a rogue agency that should be abolished. So you got to, words mean something. And when Mamdani refers to ICE as a rogue agency, what does that mean? It means they're lawless, right? They may be federal agents. They may have badges, but they're lawless. They've gone rogue. They are working outside the boundaries of the law. So when you tell a bunch of left-wing lunatics that there is this rogue criminal organization that's murdering people in the streets, illegally detaining, arresting, and deporting them, you are inciting violence. And that's why all of this happened yesterday, all right? And by the way, welcome to the program. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And, that's why this story is going to be disappeared today. Because not only is the guy a leftist, an Antifa, a Democrat, but the entire Democrat Party has been inciting violence in the last year and a half because they hate President Trump and they don't want responsibility to be given to where it belongs, and that is the out-of-control Democrats that are inciting violence. And if this was any other administration, we would not even know these things about this guy. They would have covered all of it up. We're lucky to know about it. I'm shocked, really, because I was expecting everything to be purged, because that's the typical way that they do things, and we've just become so used to it. And the fact that his social media platform was not purged, it shows that we've got a real FBI now, and that Kash Patel's doing a great job. Bongino should have stuck around, because after Pam Bondi was fired by President Trump, things really turned around at the FBI. All right, let me take some calls. This is the pre-show. We're not live on the radio yet, just here on YouTube, but you are welcome to call in. And the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. I have to comment here every time I hear this Mandani garbage. First of all, for everyone out there, whether you like it or not, ICE are police officers.
Correct.
Their function is they're law enforcement.
Yeah.
They're not security guards. They're not a Nazi army. They're police. These are the same people as Mandani, who wasn't born in this country. His family's rich. These are the same people. This guy is such a disgrace. And AOC with her southern accent crap when she's talking. I mean, this whole thing is just it's a big mask on the American people. If these liberal, crazy people like that are just one by one destroying the country.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. That guy yesterday was just one tip of the iceberg. You got these crazy people like that guy standing outside of all these ICE facilities, causing chaos on a regular basis.
And what this guy is, as crazy as this sounds, this guy that firebombed the federal building in New York City yesterday, he's a typical average leftist in America today. I mean, he is.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how they all think.
Like Antifa.
He is. Well, yeah.
They want to break. He was dressed like Antifa, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
They want to destroy. They want to destroy this country, man, from the inside. We're worried about the Iranians over there. We're bombing the crap out of them, and I hope they bomb them into oblivion. But here we are. We got these people here. How can you imagine that they're going to have this 9/11 in less than 2 months?
I know.
How's that going to come? How's that going to come off in New York to have a bunch of jihadists who actually take over 42nd Street, every Broadway, and sit there with their prayer? I mean, and say that they own the city now. This is what they actually.
Getting back to this yesterday, because I want to kind of stay on topic. There has been nonstop leftist violence and terrorist attacks. This is the second terrorist attack in the last few weeks. If you guys remember, there was an illegal Mexican was planning a terror attack during the UFC fight at the White House a few weeks back. And he had recruited a bunch of leftists to join him in doing it. Luckily, the FBI stopped them. But, we had an illegal Mexican organizing the assassination of the president and the entire cabinet and all the civilians that were there. We've got this guy who is an Antifa leftist Democrat who firebombed the governmental center yesterday. We have a major epidemic of left-wing violence that is all instigated by elected Democrats all over the country.
I would like to talk about the leftist hero. Okay, you're talking about this guy. As far as I'm concerned, and I watched this maniac who actually got killed in Minnesota. I watched him less than a week before kicking an ICE vehicle and going ballistically crazy in the street. They had that. They took that video basically and buried it. They only showed you the video of him getting shot by the police officers because he brought the gun downtown. That guy was a total maniac. And then the media said, he was a wonderful man, a good son. I'm tired of this garbage that goes on in this country. You get sitting outside of the ICE facility in New Jersey, they had Guys like in New York, they had like
Everybody,
hundreds of them out there.
everyone is someone's son or daughter. I don't know what that means. You know, with this guy yesterday in New York, the mainstream media, their immediate report was a white guy lit off fireworks in front of the federal building, and they stuck with that. They stuck with that until the arrest video was released. Can you believe? When that happened yesterday, we knew that it was either a leftist Antifa, an illegal alien, or an Islamic terror attack. It was one of those three, and that's some white guy. Give me a break.
Yeah, it's Brian, man. This has gotten out of control, and I got to tell the people out there, you want to put more Mandanis into office. They're all running all over the country. Mm-hmm. You think that your border was open for 4 years before? These people
the Chinese government
calling for open borders. You'll have
exactly
murderers
right.
coming in from everywhere. And who the hell is going to pay for all this? That's why our economy's gone into the garbage with Biden for 4 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, they sat there and watched it, and we fed these people. We sheltered these people. We did all this. And these Democrats now, they don't want to send them back.
That's exactly right.
They want to keep them here. It's disgusting, man, and they want more of them. You think about 10 million came in before. You put Democrats in charge.
If the Democrats come in, they're gonna bulldoze and blow up the entire southern border wall and flood this country with 100 million illegals, and they will do it overnight. So that they can take over the country.
And the Supreme Court, and they'll pack the court. They'll do all these crazy things. The country will never be the same again. I don't know if I could say we're at war with these people. It's not a fighting war but it's a civil war in this country. People better wake up, man.
All right, Richie, I got to run. We're getting close to the radio show, but I appreciate it. Now, Richie, you on hold, hang in there. The radio show will begin in just over a minute. I'm going to open up the show. And got a few things to say, and then I'm going to move into this coup. There's a massive coup, and there's also an uprising that's taking place inside Iran. Of course, you don't hear about this in the media because they don't want to report any of that. So if you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break. The radio show will begin. And if you'd like to call in, of course, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. You know, what we're dealing with now with the leftist, this is worse than during the Vietnam era, because there was the anti-war left that were rooting for the North Viet Cong, but not the elected Democrat officials. That might have been a rogue one here and there, but most of the elected officials were, talking about, well, we want to win, we want peace with honor and all that stuff. What we have going on now is just 100% rooting for the defeat of the United States in this war, and they think things like what this guy did yesterday was justified. All right, stand by. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and you are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Welcome, one and all. I've got a lot to cover on the show today, but I want to start with this leftist domestic terror attack that took place in New York City yesterday. And when this bombing happened yesterday morning in New York City in front of the federal building where ICE is located, who did you think did it right in the beginning, right? You thought it was either a leftist Antifa, an illegal migrant, right? Or maybe Islamic terror having to do with the war with Iran. And that didn't stop the New York Times and other leftists from reporting that a white guy lit off some fireworks. Can you imagine? And then we get this dramatic photograph and video of the arrest. We find out he's Antifa. Yeah, he's a veteran of the Army and a U.S. citizen, but he's Antifa. He's a leftist. And something has happened that we have not seen happen maybe ever before. If it's happened, it was quite some time ago. Usually when an event like this happens, the feds go in and wipe out their social media footprint. They didn't do that with this guy. And the reason they didn't do it is because we have real Americans running the FBI, running the Justice Department, and of course the White House, right? President Trump, Todd Blanche, and Kash Patel. The reason in the past the feds went in and wiped the media, social media footprint of either a mass shooter or a domestic terrorist like this guy yesterday is because they're almost always leftist and they don't want the public to know that they're leftist. But Kash Patel and Todd Blanche didn't do that with this guy. And his social media, now half of his social media is porn, but the other half of it tells you everything you need to know. Not only is he a Democrat who voted for Kamala Harris and Antifa, he is a hardcore leftist activist who supported every left-wing cause from climate change to the Luigi, the pharmaceutical killer, and everything in between. And if Biden, the autopin, was president, or Obama, or any Democrat, or we had the old FBI running things, or the old Justice Department, we wouldn't know this. And by the way, this is not speculation. It is a fact because his social media footprint is all over social media now. They didn't purge it like they've done in the past. First time I've seen them not do that, at least in a long time. You know, and you know, there's a massive, very dangerous epidemic of left-wing political violence in the United States. And this guy that firebombed this government building yesterday was very dangerous. Here's the FBI agent in charge.
Arabak is a former United States Army soldier. He was enlisted for approximately 4 years, serving from 2001 to 2005. He was a repairman or mechanic on Patriot missile systems. He is 43 years old. Mr. Arabak was looking to injure people and harm people. He had 2 axes, a hammer, a machete, and 3 knives, fixed blade knives. He had, as I said earlier, 6 incendiary devices or fireworks, and he had some other destructive items.
Wow.
He is an anti-American, anti-government extremist. We know that from what he said. We know that from what he has said post-arrest. And we know that from what his actions that he tried to take today.
Yeah, and now from his social media, all those things are true, but he's also a leftist and a Democrat and Kamala Harris voter. You know, when you look at this event yesterday, and luckily no one was killed, there were some people injured. One of the people injured was an immigrant who was on their way to the federal building to go through the citizenship ceremony and become a U.S. citizen yesterday, and they were injured by this guy, the people he claims to be fighting for. But the reason this guy did it is an obvious one. We have Democrats that are elected to office all over this country that are inciting violence, right? Like Mamdani and other Democrats. No doubt about it. They're saying that ICE is a rogue. That's a word that Mamdani used. I'll play the clip later. But a rogue outlaw organization illegally arresting people and deporting them from the country, that they're Nazis. And when you have leftist loons like this Democrat terrorist yesterday, they do what he did. And that's how Renee Good was killed. That's how Preddy got killed. And that's why this guy did what he did. Now, the Democrats will say, well, most of the violence is right-wing. Where is this right-wing violence they're always talking about? They keep talking about right-wing violence. I've not seen it. Do you? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Brian. Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff. What's up?
How the heck is that not called an act of terrorism?
Yeah, exactly.
Firework? That was absolutely nuts that they said that without even any evidence. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I believe they did it deliberately because they knew who he was.
Well, it did. You know that when you see the video, I don't know. I don't know what he had in that bucket that was flammable, but I mean, you look at that video. I don't. You know, that was. It's a miracle that no one was killed.
Yes, or badly burned.
Oh, yeah, that's a terrible way to go too.
Yes, it is. You know, but my gosh, the Democrats just keep going left, loony. How can an American with common sense not see the difference in the Democrats saying this is not the Democrats that I grew up to be, like the Kennedy Democrat, Blue Dog Democrats.
Yeah.
How can they justify being a Democrat?
And when this left-wing terrorist in New York yesterday, when his social media presence went public, every liberal cause of the past 10 or so years he's been on board for. Climate change, Luigi that shot the pharmaceutical executive, ICE, illegals. He's a hardcore leftist activist and has been since he got out of the Army.
It's really sad. You know, there's veterans that I know that are Vietnam veterans that blame the Republicans for what they went through. And it's asinine to think that they don't realize it was the Democrats that started all the protests and calling them baby killers and disgracing them.
The Republicans ended the war in Vietnam. It was a Democrat war escalated by Johnson.
And I just don't understand how, at this point in time, Save America Act, most Democrats and Republicans agree that we need to pass the Save America Act and to have election integrity.
Mm-hmm. All right, hey Jeff, I gotta run. I'm up against a break, but I appreciate the call. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. I want to talk about Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. Now, remember, Jamie Levac can help you with your taxes no matter where you are located in the United States. Now, if you missed the tax deadline this year or you haven't filed your taxes in years, don't worry. Stop worrying that you're going to get that certified letter from the IRS. Call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. He's got a direct line to the IRS. He'll handle everything for you. If you owe back taxes, right, and even if you've made an arrangement already with the IRS, or if you haven't made an arrangement with the IRS and you owe back taxes, call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. He'll take care of it for you. Don't worry. Stop living in fear of the certified letter from the IRS. And those of you that are working so hard and not seeing any headway paying off your past IRS debt, call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. He'll take a look at your situation and review it and take care of that for you as well. Now, also, if you're a business owner, okay, and you do need to have somebody helping your taxes. And those of you out there that are Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, Door Dashers, any type of that gig economy, you really need an accountant. You know, you are either building up a tax debt or you're paying too much in taxes. Call Jamie Levac. He can help. His number rings directly to him, so you can call or text Jamie Levac, 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587 for Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take a break and be back after this. All right, now keeping in mind, after the break, I'm going to get into what's going on in Iran. There's a major coup and uprising taking place in Iran as we speak. But keeping in mind what this domestic terrorist did yesterday, listen to Mamdani. Mamdani's not alone, but this is Mamdani.
I believe that ICE is a cruel agency who has very little interest, if any at all, in public safety. And I believe it's a rogue agency that should be abolished.
Is that not the incitement of violence against ICE? If you're saying they're a rogue agency that should be abolished, which is what Mamdani says, rogue means they're criminal. They're operating on their own illegally, and what they're doing is criminal, right? What else does it mean? Is that not the incitement of violence in your mind? The number is pinned in the live chat. It's 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. All opinions are welcome. Whether you agree or disagree, all opinions are welcome. And, you know, the thing is this. If you're a leftist and you oppose what ICE is doing under the order of the President of the United States, you know, we've got an election coming up soon, right? It's July, so we got August, September, October, and November, right? We're like a little more than 3 months away from the midterm election. You don't settle it like this. You don't go to attack ICE officers with a gun. You don't try to run ICE officers over with your car. You don't firebomb the government building in New York City where ICE is located. You get behind a candidate and you get people elected that agree with you. That's the American system. But what we're seeing, you want to talk about rogue, we're seeing Democrats out there that are involved in violence all over this country against the federal government. And what you all told us is that's insurrectionist behavior. You're interfering with government business. Yesterday, government business was stopped at the federal building because of this Democrat, liberal, leftist terrorist attack. Did he not interfere with government business? Is that not an insurrection by the Democrat standards? If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back in 1 minute. I'll take more of your calls. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. Remember, all opinions are welcome. No profanity, because we're on the radio. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. And everyone, please like the video. If you like the video, it helps so much. Because when you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please like the video. And those of you that have been and are doing that, thank you so much for doing it. I do appreciate it. It helps a lot. All right? Okay, we got 20 seconds and we'll be back. Yep, the number is toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. All right, 8 seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
You know, they've had a problem with ICE since the whole Ramos and Compion deal down there at the border when the guy shot the illegal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they put both of those two guys in jail. You know, so they've had that problem with ICE for that long a time. And look, it's the whole thing about standards for thee and not for me. Okay?
Well, the left were big fans of ICE. The Democrats were big fans of ICE when Obama was president and when Otto Penn Biden was president. So what's happened? When did they become a Nazi organization? I missed that.
I don't know when did they come up. All I know is they put those two guys in jail for basically defending the border, doing their jobs, and
you're absolutely right, Mike. I cannot agree with you more. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance too. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi, good morning, Brian. Danielle with Michigan.
Hey, Danielle.
I must, hi.
Oh, hold on, Danielle, while I answer these lines that are coming in. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I have to get this off my chest before I go to work. In regards to what Mandani said about ICE, let's just start from the very beginning here, because what these people have done to demonize and what they've done to our ICE agents, let's just go back. Let's go back to see how we got here. For 4 years, I open border for 4 years.
Yes.
I watched it being reported and saw the pictures of all of these people rushing into our country, breaking down fences, pushing our border agents for 4 years.
That's right.
So this is the result. So this is the result of what we need to clean up because of what the Democrats did to this country. So now we are in cleanup mode desperately to get these criminals and get anyone that's come over illegally out of our country. That's where we're at. If they didn't have, if Biden and Harris would have left the policies in place that Trump had.
Well, they
in
didn't
place
want
for our
to. They
border,
were, the Otto-Penn administration was repopulating our country with foreigners. They were doing that. The open border was their policy. They just didn't openly say it.
So this is, Brian, so this is why we're here. We're here because of Biden and Kamala and all of the people on the Bernie and all of these people on the left that are crazy. So
Yes.
for all of your listeners that don't quite understand, and for Mandani that wants to, we've got candidates in Michigan, Brian, 2 of them, that want to abolish ICE and defund our police here in
Correct.
Michigan.
That's
This
right.
This is frightening.
Well, what's
We have to go
happened
back to
is, what's going on here, there's a lot going on, okay? The Democrat Socialist of America, they're communist. There's nowhere in the world where the communists have come to power without violence. It's always... So we've got these commie Democrat Socialist of America that are radical. We've got the regular Democrats who are working up other, rank and file Democrats like Preddy in Minneapolis, Renee Good in Minneapolis, and this terrorist yesterday in New York City to go out and commit acts of violence against federal agents. The Democrats on both fronts are responsible for really an insurrection that's taking place throughout the United States against the sitting president of the United States. That's what's going on here. This is an insurrection.
I agree, and I want to say one thing to a few of your listeners, like Renee and Jay and Doc and all of these other people that don't quite understand. I'm going to say you should be a little bit frightened and afraid of what these people want to do to your country, to your country, not only our country, Brian, but to everybody's country, what these people are trying to do and what they want to do. Do you think for a moment, Brian, we want open and need open borders again? Do your callers don't understand that call in and challenge you what that's going to do to their country as well? I mean, we got to wake up, America.
Well,
we got to wake up, people.
Yesterday on CNN, when they were discussing this firebombing of the federal building, the Democrats were saying, well, ICE, they've done this and ICE has done that. They actually think that it is justifiable what this guy did yesterday, that he was forced into doing this. That's mainstream Democrats that are part of the pundit class.
It's a very scary situation, but more and more Americans are waking up to see what their plan is and what they want to do to the country. And the people that are listening to your show, because they call in, I hear them, you better wake up, people.
Yeah.
You better wake up. God,
all right, Michigan. Well, I appreciate the call. Yeah. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free, no matter where you're listening. It's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Florida's own Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, she is calling upon Secretary of State Marco Rubio to deport all the Chinese nationals that are in the United States on student visas. What do you guys think about that? Do you agree with that? I do. I mean, if you take 100% of the Chinese nationals that are here on student visas, out of that 100%, what percentage of them do you believe are spies or spies in training? Right? 10%, 80%, 90%? They're being, what they're doing is, remember that show on FX, The Americans, about the Soviet spies? And we used to hear about all these Soviet spy schools deep in the Soviet Union where they would train Russians to be Americans and have American accents and learn American ways. The enemy doesn't do that anymore. China, they don't train them in China. They just get them a student visa and send them to college in the United States. And boom, they're infiltrated. And when they graduate, they probably get a job in Silicon Valley or something, and then they get access to all our computer technology. Or, they're getting some type of computer science degree and they're working on data centers, and everything else. This is such an insane level of craziness that's going on. And Anna Paulina Luna is right on the money. Every single Chinese national in this country with a student visa should have their student visa revoked, and they should be immediately deported without question. Do you guys agree with that? Your thoughts are certainly welcome. Now, after the bottom of the hour break, there's a major coup and uprising going on in Iran, which I'm going to cover. But first, I want to talk about Lighthouse Medical Center. If you or a loved one suffer from neuropathy, call Lighthouse Medical Center. They can help you no matter what stage of neuropathy you're in. If you're in the very early stages, or if you're in the later stages where you can't even stand up anymore, or you're anywhere in between, call. They can help you and treat you and rid you of your neuropathy at no matter what stage of neuropathy you're suffering, okay? If you think you may have neuropathy and have not been diagnosed, call Lighthouse Medical. They'll examine you, they'll do the testing, and they'll let you know whether or not you have neuropathy. The consultation is always free, but you got to mention that you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. All right, the number is 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, now, if you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. My name is Brian. This is Where MAGA Comes to Talk. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with you.
Life can leave us with a lot of questions. Why did this happen to me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And where is God in all of it? If you've ever asked those questions, you need to tune into the Healing Philosophers Podcast with The Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Through honest conversations and real-life experiences, each episode explores topics like healing from past hurts, generational karma, letting go of what's holding you back, understanding narcissism, and discovering how God can use even life's hardest moments for a greater purpose. The Healing Philosophers Podcast is about finding hope, growing in your faith, and realizing that your story in every season of your life has meaning. Add the Healing Philosophers Podcast to your Spotify playlist, and make sure to share the podcast on all your social media and invite your friends and family to listen in too. Your share could be exactly what someone else needs right now. The Healing Philosophers Podcast with the Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Healing starts with one conversation. Listen now on Spotify. Are you retired and wondering what comes next? Your experience still has value. Your passions, hobbies, knowledge, and skills could become the foundation of a profitable online business. At retirementprogram.org, you'll discover a practical internet marketing strategy designed to help everyday people just like you create additional income from what they already know. With retirementprogram.org, you'll learn how to build your very first website, even with no programming experience. Discover the basics of getting your website found on Google. Learn to attract targeted visitors and turn that traffic into revenue. This free step-by-step guide explains how to choose a topic, create useful content, improve your search rankings, and explore proven ways to make money online. Retirementprogram.org isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about investing a little time each week to build something that can grow over time and provide an additional source of income during your retirement. Your dream career may not be behind you. It could be just beginning. Visit retirementprogram.org today and get your free guide, and share the link on all your social media so your retired friends can join in too. That's retirementprogram.org.
All right, we will be back in less than a minute. So if you're on hold, stand by. We'll go to the calls, and I've got more to bring up. But The number is toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. And please, guys, make sure you like the video. When you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel and enjoy this kind of content. So that's great. And this is the most pro-Donald Trump MAGA place anywhere. Okay? That's true. You'll never hear me disagree with President Trump. You'll never hear me take issue with President Trump. And I don't say that because he said that I'm keeping silent on things I disagree with that he's done. I agree with everything that he's done. All right, we got 15 seconds. Indeed. 10 seconds. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
PJ from Broward.
Hey, PJ. What's up?
Yeah, I'd like to remind everybody.
Hold on, PJ. My phone's just exploded here. All right, yeah. Remind us of what, PJ?
Yeah, there's a major party candidate running for U.S. Senate that was involved actively in anti-ICE activities. In case anybody forgot, from Minnesota, the lieutenant governor, Flan, Southside. Remember Signal Chat?
Yes.
And she's running. She's the candidate, Democrat candidate for Senate from Minnesota. I would love for somebody in Minnesota to ask her about this latest incident, what she thinks.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, Flan Southside, what? Hey, one other thing, you know what? Is there any possibility that the FBI actually has solid evidence that Flan Southside she's denied it, or actually her spokespeople denied that that's her, which I think is a lie. Do you think there's any possibility that the FBI has solid any more evidence?
I don't know.
That was indeed her.
I don't know, but Elizabeth Warren's aide went to the Ayatollah funeral in Iran. I mean, the Democrat Party today is there's a lot for the FBI to look at. You know.
Yeah. Now I hope not just Peggy Flanagan, but also like other candidates, Democrat candidates, like the new guy that they sort of seem to have settled on in Maine, that was Troy Jackson. I want them all to come out and say be asked what they think
so
about this.
The transgendered Minnesotan that wants to just use the bathroom didn't get it?
No, I don't know who you're talking. Which one you meant?
Oh, not Minnesota. Oh, okay, that was Maine. I'm sorry, I've got my Democrat lunatics mixed up. I was talking about in Maine, they had the Senate wannabes to replace Graham Plattner. One was the transgender person.
I must know. They settled on this Troy. You know what? It's a repeat of what happened nationally. Remember in 2020, all the other candidates except for Elizabeth Warren, because she drew votes away from Bernie Sanders.
That's right.
They all dropped out to put Biden in place.
That's right.
It's the same thing in Maine right now. The other candidates. The other big candidates, except for maybe that crazy you just mentioned, all dropped out to help. But it's all fixed, you know.
That's right.
They always talk about our democracy. This is what democracy looks like. Well, yeah, this is what the Democrat Party looks like.
Yeah, democracy.
Fixing the elections.
Yeah, going by. When somebody wins the primary you don't like, you buy them off, force them out, or humiliate them, and you plug somebody in that didn't get a vote. All right, PJ, I'm going to move on, but good points. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Hey, Doc. How you doing?
All right. How are you this morning?
I am doing very well. Thank you for asking.
All right. Hey, how's your wife?
Everyone's doing well.
And your daughter?
She's doing well, too.
That's
yes.
good. That's good. Hey, what I was calling you about this morning, the young man who, I don't know, he sounded like he was insane, the one in New York.
Young man, 43-year-old Army veteran, Antifa, who voted for Kamala Harris, that guy that firebombed the federal building?
Okay, Brian. Okay, Brian. Okay, Brian. You got your protocols. Okay, it is what it is. He obviously something is mentally wrong with him. Hello?
Why do you say that? Because he's a Democrat?
Brian, how do you know he's a Democrat?
Because his
I
entire
think,
because
why, Brian? Why?
why his social media footprint, which I retweeted, is all over the internet, and he voted for Kamala Harris.
So when a MAGA person does something, you blame.
When is a MAGA person
Brian,
firebombed a federal
please.
building? When's the last time that happened?
Please, Brian.
When did a MAGA person firebomb a federal building?
Okay, Brian. So are you going to blame a MAGA person? I'm not going to blame nobody but that person because he has his own mind. He has his own mind.
So no. So when is a MAGA person firebombed a building?
Again, Brian, I'm blaming that person. I don't know what a MAGA person, because I don't pay attention to MAGA people like y'all.
Okay, so you blame you don't blame Donald Trump for anything that MAGA people do.
I don't blame, because Donald Trump, people have their own minds.
Yeah.
People have their own minds. And because they listen to Trump, which I don't know why people listen to Trump. Again, I don't know why. And I felt so bad for him Sunday. He's on that stage. Everybody say he looks bad. He looks bad.
Oh, he looks great. And the star player from Spain, I saw him in a parade wearing a hat that said "Make Spain Great Again." So their top player loves President Trump. So let me get back to this. So this guy this domestic terrorist, this is the second leftist terrorist attack in recent weeks, right? An illegal Mexican organized a bunch of leftists to attack the UFC fight at the White House a couple weeks back. I mean, there's this
Brian,
wave
how
of
do you
left.
know, Brian, you don't.
Because they were arrested. They were arrested, and the FBI had a press conference, and it was reported.
Okay, Brian, I think you get off on it. You get off on it.
No, there's a problem. There's left-wing political violence in this country. Renee Good. Renee Good, was she a leftist? Renee Good?
No, she wasn't. She was not.
She tried to run over an ICE agent.
She did not try to run over an ICE agent.
Yeah, she hit him with the car. She hit him with the car.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm not.
So what was Renee Good? Was what, MAGA? What was Renee Good? Republican?
I don't know what made Good good. I don't know what made good was.
Come on.
Okay.
What
Brian,
about Preddy?
I'm not arguing with you.
Was Preddy a leftist? He was the one that brought the pistol to and attacked ICE agents in Minneapolis. What about
Brian,
Luigi that killed the pharmaceutical guy? Is he a leftist? Don't you see a pattern?
Luigi was a sick person. He was a sick person that was tied of the insurance. Is insurance doing like? I'm sure with your wife you have problems with your insurance.
Nope.
And
we do not have. We have zero problems with our insurance.
You do.
No, we don't.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Nope.
Yeah, you do. You lying.
Nope.
Everybody do.
Nope. We have zero problems with our insurance.
Again, that's your opinion. Okay, keep it.
No, that's a fact.
Again,
I know for a fact that my wife and I have
out.
no problems with our insurance.
Let the system work itself out with the young man. Let him get some mental help. Put him in jail. And,
Doc, if you went to any maximum security prison where they keep the murderers and the rapists and stuff, aren't they all mentally ill?
Ryan,
I mean, if you're committing acts of violence,
not all of them are mentally ill.
You have to be mentally ill. If you're murdering people, you've got to be a mental patient. Just because someone is mentally ill doesn't mean they're not a Democrat.
And you know what too, Brian? I'm gonna say this: you're responsible for that young man in New York. You're responsible. I'm
responsible for this guy that voted for Kamala Harris.
All that hate you spew every day. Her name is Kamala. Stop calling her that.
Well, he voted for her. Well, he voted for her. Why did the guy that fired? Yeah, he said so on. Well, I do know. It's on X.
Stop spreading that hate, Brian. Stop.
It's not hate.
Stop. It is hate. You hate Kamala so much. I don't know why.
No, but she was Kamala Harris was Kamala Harris.
Stop saying the name.
Okay, Willie Brown's girlfriend. Okay. Oh, he hung up. Doc hung up. Kamala Harris, Willie Brown's girlfriend, the guy that firebombed the federal building yesterday, voted for her. He was very active on social media. He did two things. He followed porn and leftist activities, okay? And that's basically what he did all day. follow liberal political politics, and then when he wasn't doing that, he was doing porn. It was released yesterday. It's all over social media, and I retweeted a collection of his social media footprint on my X at Brian Craig Show. You guys can look at it yourself or look it up on your own independently on X. It's all out there, and this is the first time, and I cannot remember the last time when there's been one of these high-profile incidents where the social media footprint wasn't wiped out immediately. Usually, before you know the name of the person, the feds have already wiped out their FBI. The FBI has already wiped out their social media footprint. They did not with this guy, because we've got real good people running the Justice Department now. And they're not going to. The reason the others got their social media footprint wiped out is because they were leftist, and the powers that be want to blame everything on the right, when it's those on the left that are committing these acts of political violence. All right, now, right now in Iran, if you're on hold, stand by, and if you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Right now in Iran, there's major upheaval going on. There is a coup going on between the civilian bureaucrats in the government and the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. And after the next break, I'm going to go through that and also a major incident that's not being covered in the news that took place just yesterday in Iran. Okay, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. I want to talk about Mike Lindell at MyPillow, who was with the president at the World Cup, and also has the president's endorsement in his run for governor of Minnesota. But right now, at MyPillow.com, the Mega 2 sale is going on, and there's just massive specials on some of the most popular MyPillow products. The 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets, under $30. The MyPillow 6-piece towel sets, they're just $39.98. That's a huge discount. I have these MyPillow towels. These MyPillow towels are amazing. When you've seen the commercial, you hear Mike Lindell say, towels that actually work. What a concept. And boy, is that one of the truest statements I've ever heard, okay? You ever get out of the shower and you're cold? Well, the reason you're cold is because that's the feeling of the water evaporating off your body. When you use the MyPillow towels, you don't have that. When you dry off, it actually dries you off. The other towels, they just spread the water around and aren't drying you. You are dry. You get out of the shower, you are not cold at all, and you're completely dry. And I had an accident happen. Every day I drink this 16-ounce thing of Starbucks every day, right, with 4 or 5 shots of espresso in it. And one morning, I was walking into the studio here and bumped my arm up against the door jamb, and the entire 16-ounce coffee spilled right on my floor. Luckily, my floor's tile, but coffee was everywhere. I reached over, I grabbed the MyPillow towel, a white one. I wasn't thinking, but I wanted to clean it up, and it was like a big paper towel. I put it over the coffee spill before it came into the studio, because in the studio, I have wood floors. I didn't want to get the coffee on the wood floors. And I put it there. It absorbed all the coffee. I picked up the towel, and the floor was dry. It actually had the entire 16 ounces of coffee with cream in the towel, a white towel. I walked it all the way to the garage where my washing machine is. It held everything in the towel. It didn't drip. There wasn't a trail of drips all the way to the garage. I couldn't believe it. And when I washed it and dried it, you couldn't even tell it had absorbed coffee. It looked brand new white like the day I got it. It's amazing, because everything Mike Lindell makes is of high quality. So you can use our promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, on all the specials at MyPillow.com. Go to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, for all these huge savings. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. 4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. All right, we'll take our last break of the first hour and be right back.
Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why do you believe what you believe? Not your opinions, not your politics, not even your religion. The deeper question is this: what worldview is actually running your life? In Worldview, the model running your life, from author Eric Klein, available on Amazon, explores how our beliefs are shaped, not just by facts, but by our experiences, habits, emotions, culture, and the influences we often don't even recognize. Blending biblical truth with philosophy, neuroscience, psychology, and even modern artificial intelligence concepts, this fascinating and must-read book challenges readers to examine the hidden assumptions that drive every decision they make. If you're looking for a book that will stretch your thinking, strengthen your faith, and help you pursue truth with greater clarity and humility, Worldview, the model running your life, belongs on your reading list. Discover the questions that could change the way you see everything. Worldview, the model running your life, from author Eric Klein. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Life can leave us with a lot of questions. Why did this happen to me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And where is God in all of it? If you've ever asked those questions, you need to tune into the Healing Philosophers podcast with The Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Through honest conversations and real-life experiences, each episode explores topics like healing from past hurts, generational karma, letting go of what's holding you back, understanding narcissism, and discovering how God can use even life's hardest moments for a greater purpose. The Healing Philosophers podcast is about finding hope, growing in your faith, and realizing that your story and every season of your life has meaning. Add the Healing Philosophers podcast to your Spotify playlist, and make sure to share the podcast on all your social media and invite your friends and family to listen in too. Your share could be exactly what someone else needs right now. The Healing Philosophers podcast with the Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Healing starts with one conversation. Listen now on Spotify. What if you could have a professional website online in just 60 seconds for less than $1? You can with forless.ai. That's FOR less.ai. Forless.ai is the fastest and easiest way to build a beautiful website using the power of artificial intelligence. With forless.ai, there's no coding, no designers, and no complicated software. Simply go to forless.ai. Describe your business or idea in plain English, and forless.ai automatically generates a complete, ready-to-publish website in seconds. Whether you're starting a small business, promoting your services, launching a side hustle, or building your personal brand, forless.ai gets you online quickly, affordably, and professionally. Spend less time building and more time growing your business. Build your website in just 60 seconds for less than $1. Visit forless.ai right now. That's forless.ai. Forless.ai. Less time, less effort, more results. Forless.ai.
All right, we'll be back in 30 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. When we get back, I'm going to talk about the coup and conflict inside Iran, and how, you know, the war was won on day one, but there's some updates we got to go through. 15 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. All right, there's big developments inside Iran, none of which really are being reported. You know, I'm watching a lot of media that comes from Iranian dissidents that have sources inside Iran. They're able to monitor the internet in Iran, and they've got people there telling them what's really going on. There's a few things going on there. One, there's a coup attempt going on by the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. There's a bureaucracy of civilians, like the president, the front people that we always see of Iran, and they want to end the war because they're getting obliterated. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard, they want to go down with the ship. And there were reports yesterday that they're holding the president and other senior officials hostage because there's a big conflict between the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and the civilian bureaucracy government. And, you know, the thing about the Revolutionary Guard, they're there to do just what it says, guard the revolution, right? You know, they are a military organization, but they're not like a normal military. A normal military inside a country is to protect the country. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard's mission is to protect the revolution. And they believe that the civilian leadership of Iran are committing treason against the revolution. So there is a major coup and civil war going on inside the government of Iran, which is a very good thing for us because it is, it's major conflict and disunity and everything else. A day or two ago, there was a protest against the government by civilians. And it was estimated that as many as 100,000 turned out protesting the government for allowing the war to continue. And what they wanted to do, this is what they were calling for, which was fascinating. It was this is being reported by the Iranian dissident media. They were calling for the government officials, both the civilian bureaucracy leaders, the president and others, the parliament members, and the Revolutionary Guard leaders to come to southern Iran. And they're not in southern Iran. Southern Iran is where a lot of the military action is taking place, right? A lot of the bombing, because Iran has a lot of their assets in southern Iran, because that's where the Strait of Hormuz is and the Persian Gulf, and that's where that's where they do all their terror. So southern Iran is where the bulk of the bombing has been happening. We've been bombing, of course, military targets, bridges. We've been blowing up their railway stations and storehouses and everything. And the civilian population in southern Iran is dealing with explosions and bombings. It's been 10 nights in a row now. And both the civilian and IRGC leadership are in other parts of Iran away from where the bombing is coming. They're not facing the blackouts. There's massive blackouts going on throughout Iran too. And with the 100,000 protesters in Iran the other day, notice there were no stories of mass killings, which shows they don't have the numbers or the ability to go out and kill their protesters like they have a history of doing. That shows how weak their military has gotten. But what they were calling for wasn't a surrender to the United States or even signing the deal. They wanted the leadership to come to southern Iran to see the damage and what daily life is like in southern Iran with all of these American rockets and planes flying over dropping bombs, which of course they wouldn't do. But 100,000, think about that. That's a massive, massive protest against the government during this war. And it's being reported nowhere in American media. You know, the media, so there's major turmoil and division going on inside Iran on top of the mass bombing that's taking place. And I was watching yesterday and this morning some of the file footage that we're getting from the rockets. And I mean, we're bombing anything that's military over there. And these rocket attacks they've been doing, the few rockets they have left, it looks to me like they're just randomly firing them off because they know we're going to blow them up. And they want to fire them off even without aiming them, as long as they're aimed away from them, before Trump blows them up, and Pete Hegseth and General Kane. So things are going incredibly well with Iran. They're not just are we blasting everything away, but there's so much inner turmoil, and they're fighting amongst themselves in the government. Now, Victor Davis Hanson and others have been talking about what Trump's doing here, and Trump's mentioned this, but not for a while. And Victor Davis Hanson's very, very smart. I don't always agree with him, but I think I probably agree with him maybe 90% or so of the time, maybe 95% of it. He's very smart, Victor Davis Hanson. And he believes that President Trump's doing this massive campaign. He's going to continue to do it for a couple of more weeks, and then he's going to declare the combat mission over and get back to electioneering for the midterms. And I don't know if that's true or not. That's Victor Davis Hanson's analysis, and others have had similar analysis of what President Trump's doing. And what President Trump has said is he wants to damage them so much it's going to take them 20 years or more to rebuild. And that's what he's doing. I mean, there's just not much left at all. I would think that the biggest problem that the Trump administration, that the War Department are having, are finding things to bomb, because what's left? Probably not much. And, you know, the media usually love wars because wars mean television ratings. Even Vietnam, they started, you know, the Vietnam War was the first time the media really had a war to cover like that, like in almost real time. And since then, and since the Persian Gulf War in 91, the media love a war, and they love to cover a war. But they're not covering this one. They really are not. And the reason they're not covering it is because we won the war on day one. All these things I told you about, there's some reports out of Iran. We hit a nuclear facility of theirs, a nuclear reactor facility. And Iran is panicked that we're going to knock out their nuclear reactor. Which we should do. I don't care if it radiates whatever city it's near. We should knock it all out and radiate them all. I don't care. Put them back into, 100 years ago without electricity and everything else. And let's see what they can do then. But the media aren't covering this war very much because we're doing so well. And that compliments President Trump. And they don't want any positive news about President Trump. That's the same reason that this Democrat Antifa Kamala Harris voter that firebombed the federal building, attacking the ICE office yesterday, injuring a person who was just about to become an American citizen before they could have the ceremony, which was canceled. That story's already been disappeared. You know, I go to the media, there's hardly a mention of it because it doesn't fit their narrative. It doesn't fit their narrative. Our winning in Iraq doesn't fit their narrative. This guy being a Democrat leftist yesterday doesn't fit their narrative, so they don't want to report it. All right, now I want to take a moment to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. You know, it is rainy season, it is hurricane season, and you know Tom Laporta covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between, from the Gulf of America to the Atlantic Ocean. And he does incredible work. You may have seen the weather. The Panhandle and the Tampa area, you know, they have this tropical depression, tropical storm. That's life in Florida, you know. And if you've got a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, you want to call Tom Laporta. You know, Tom Laporta works with every type of roofing material, but he also works with every type of structure, homes, residential properties, condominiums, apartment buildings, office buildings, municipal buildings, churches. He works on every type of structure there is. He also can handle a job of any size, whether it's a single-family home, one office building, one apartment building, one government office, or an HOA that has 500 units in it. He can handle it. And this number rings directly to his cell phone, so you can call or text Tom Laporta right now, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaRoofing.com. Laporta Roofing, voted best roofing company in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. All right. We'll take our break for the top of the hour, come back with your calls and more, because there's a lot to cover today. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. We'll be right back. All right, guys, hang in there.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed before your day even begins? Like your to-do list is running your life. Your motivation has disappeared, and no matter how hard you try, you're stuck. From author Victoria Magic comes a refreshing, down-to-earth book that will help you stop waiting for motivation and start building it one small step at a time. From overwhelmed to empowered, a practical guide to self-motivation in everyday life. Available on Amazon. With this must-read book, you'll learn simple, proven techniques to beat procrastination, quiet negative self-talk, reduce stress, boost productivity, and create lasting momentum. There's no unrealistic routines, no complicated systems, just practical, actionable tools that fit into real life, even on your busiest days. Whether you're a working parent, caregiver, student, or busy professional, author Victoria Magic shows you how to turn that feeling of being overwhelmed into action, build confidence, and make meaningful progress without guilt, pressure, or burnout. Order your copy right now on Amazon in Kindle and paperback and start making progress one small, powerful step at a time. From overwhelmed to empowered, a practical guide to self-motivation in everyday life from author Victoria Magic on Amazon. Are you looking for jewelry that's as unique as you are? Then check out Kita Luxury on Etsy, where every piece is handcrafted with passion, artistry, and the natural beauty of genuine crystals and gemstones. Inspired by a love for one-of-a-kind bohemian designs, Kita Luxury was created with a simple mission to make extraordinary handmade jewelry accessible to everyone. Behind every creation is a talented team of skilled artisans, each bringing their custom expertise to metalwork, stone cutting, beading, and fine jewelry craftsmanship to produce stunning wearable works of art. Whether you're searching for a breathtaking statement necklace, elegant earrings, handcrafted bracelets, beautiful rings, or meaningful jewelry for both men and women, you'll discover pieces that celebrate your individuality and personal style. Every design is carefully handcrafted using high-quality, natural materials, creating jewelry that's more than an accessory. It's a reflection of who you are. Whether you're shopping for yourself or searching for the perfect gift, Kita Luxury offers timeless handcrafted jewelry designed to inspire, delight, and be treated for years to come. These healing crystals are some of the best healing jewelry on Etsy. Visit KeetaLuxury.etsy.com. That's KEETA luxury.etsy.com. KeetaLuxury.etsy.com. Handcrafted jewelry that tells your story. KeetaLuxury.etsy.com.
My Pillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium My Pillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got My Pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept! Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
All right, we'll be back in 20 seconds. If you're on hold, stand by. I got a couple things I want to bring up after the top. All right, 10 seconds. All right, hour number 2 has begun. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Welcome, one and all. You're welcome to call in and discuss anything I brought up so far. I just gave you the latest updates on Iran. Things are going incredibly well for the United States and Iran. And, of course, we found out a Kamala Harris voter is responsible for the domestic terrorism of firebombing the federal building in New York City where ICE is located, part of this really epidemic of left-wing political violence that's taking place across this country. You know, it just blows my mind that the media, the liberals, keep saying, well, most of the violence is right-wing. Where is the right-wing violence? Right? Where is the right-wing violence that they're always talking about here, because I'm not seeing it. You know, they keep referencing it and just assume, well, you know, that's the way it is and everyone's going to accept that. I don't see it. And not only do I not see it, it's not that I'm not seeing things that are there, it doesn't exist. Now, I came across something that just, this is insane to me. And, you know, J.D. Vance is from Ohio. I'm from Ohio. And when I was a kid, you know, we didn't have Disney World in Ohio, but we have two places in Ohio that some argue are better than Disney World for good reason. One is Kings Island, which is in the southern Ohio. And then up north along Lake Erie is probably the first theme park I ever went to as a child, Cedar Point. Any of you guys go to Cedar Point in Ohio? Cedar Point is one of the, if it's in Sandusky, Ohio. If it's not the oldest, it's one of the oldest theme parks in all of the United States. I used to go there when I was a kid, and my grandparents, they went to Cedar Point when they were young, you know, and my grandparents passed away in the 1980s, right? So, you know, I mean, so it's been around for a long, long time. And Cedar Point, it's I'm not a roller coaster person, but that's what it's most known for, are its roller coasters. There's an event taking place there that really, what's happening in this country, it's not just New York City, it's not just Minneapolis, it's not just Michigan. It's in Ohio. Look at this. Cedar Point are having the Muslim Day at Cedar Point. I'm in shock over this. Yeah, that's right. And it's coming up August 2nd. Enjoy Muslim Day at Cedar Point, August 2nd. Now, this is not officially being done by Cedar Point. It is sponsored by the Northeast Ohio Muslim community. Now, I'm going to tell you, and I think this is probably true for most Americans. Before Obama was president, right, and before 9/11, in your lifetime, before 9/11 and before Obama's presidency, how many Muslims did you meet in your life in this country? I met one guy. One guy, you know. So listen, Northeast Ohio's Muslim community presents Enjoy Muslim Day at Cedar Point, August 2nd. That's right. Bring your burqa. It's pretty hot, though, in August. Bring your burqa. And it's also being promoted by the Islamic Society of Northwest Ohio and other Islamic groups. What's going on in this country is a Islamification at every angle of our society. You know, they're trying to do in America what they've done in England. And what people have said in this country is they'll never do it here because the country's too big. Oh, they're doing it. And it's spreading. And, you know, when you look back at the 8 years of Barack Obama's presidency and then the 4 Autopen years, you know, when you look back and people look at Obama's presidency, it seems on the face of it mediocre. They'll point to Obamacare, which has been an incredible failure. But you look back at Obama's 8 years and it's less eventful than Clinton's 8 years, right? Like a do-nothing president. And, well, that's not the case. He was doing a lot. It was just behind the scenes. And what Obama was doing mainly was bringing God knows how many Muslims into this country and locating them in areas all over the place. And this event in Cedar Point, Ohio, you know what it reminds me of is the gay days at Disney. And gay days at Disney, which no longer exist because every day is gay day at Disney now, but gay days at Disney was a big thing in the 90s. and kind of disappeared in the 2000s. But in the 90s, it was a big thing. And what happened is there was a gay organization who it wasn't Disney that did it. It was independent, like the Muslims here in Ohio. It was independent, and they had these gay days at Disney, and gays would take over the parks, and it was very, very inappropriate. I remember we got a call on the air from a guy. He and his wife took their grandkids to Disney World. They didn't know it was gay days, and they left, not because there were gay people there, but because they were acting inappropriately. Yeah, gay days at Walt Disney World. They were acting inappropriately and wearing cut-off shorts and doing all kinds of things you shouldn't be doing at a theme park. And they left. And what that resulted in was changing the face of Walt Disney World, where every day is gay day. You go online, there's a lot of people on social media that make videos of Disney World all the time. When you go and look at those, you rarely see children. When I went to Disney World, I used to be an annual pass holder at Disney World, and I was for many, many years. And when I picked up on the damage of Disney World, I went to Disney World the first day that it reopened after the pandemic. And they had a special opening only for annual pass holders, and they limited the number of people. And I made a video about it. And I went because I thought, well, it'll be historic going to Walt Disney World the first day that it was open after the pandemic. And I talked about it in the video. There were no children there. None. It was all adults. And if you look now at videos and live streams at Walt Disney World, there are very few children. It's almost all adults. They call them Disney adults. This began out of the gay days. This Muslim event at Cedar Point is very similar. And it may not seem like a big deal now, but it is, okay? And what's happening is an immersion of Islam into every aspect of American culture. I give an example. This guy, let me see if I can pull this up. I wasn't going to play this. I want to play this guy that's running in the Democrat primary in Michigan, Ahmed. He's running for the Democrat Senate nomination. Okay, this guy's so bad. He's hold on a second here. That's Van Jones. We'll get to Van Jones in a minute. Ahmed, who's the Democrat he's a Democrat socialist. He's Muslim. He's running on the socialist communist ticket. Came out yesterday. He makes $700,000 a year, but he's against the rich. He was talking the other day about people being saddened at the death of the Ayatollah Khomeini. And this guy's running as a Democrat for the United States Senate in Michigan. And he's on with Jake Tapper yesterday. Listen to this. This is Jake Tapper with Ahmed.
20 weeks ago, when Iran's supreme leader was killed, you told your staff, according to audio obtained by the Washington Free Beacon, quote, "There are a lot of people in Dearborn who are sad today, so I just don't want to comment on Khamenei at all," unquote. I thought that quote was interesting because the Ayatollah has killed tens of thousands of innocent Iranians, not to mention the proxies that Iran has funded that have killed innocent civilians all over the Middle East. Why were you worried about offending people who support the Ayatollah?
Jake, on a day where we're mourning the loss of 2 more service members in a war we never should have fought.
This is the pivot, right? He's trying to do the pivot.
I think all of us ought to step back and ask whether or not everybody in Michigan, frankly, everybody in America, shouldn't be sad about the fact that this president, backed by the prime minister of a foreign government, took us to a war we had no business fighting in. So yeah, I didn't want to comment on it then because it's a ridiculous pretext. And now you're asking me about the Ayatollah, who's dead, by the way, and you're not asking me about the service members who've died. You're not asking me about whether or not this war should have ever been fought. You're not asking me about whether or not the costs that are being borne by Michiganders in the tax dollars we pay or the gas prices that are insane right now are worth it. And so, look, let's have a conversation based in Michigan. I'm running for Senate in Michigan. And I think here in Michigan, all of us are probably sad about the fact that we went to war that we never should have fought. I'd rather our money be spent here.
I was specifically asking you about comments you didn't want to make because you didn't want to offend people in Dearborn.
Yeah, he didn't want to offend the Muslim community in Dearborn who were mourning the death of the Ayatollah Khomeini. And once there's a conversation like this happening, have we already lost? Has the takeover happened? You know, I really hope this guy loses the primary. You never know. You never know. But when this kind of, this is like, that's why I was using the gay days at Disney with the Muslim days at Cedar Point. When the gay days became normal at Disney World was lost as a family place to bring your kids and grandkids. Now this, has it been lost now? All right, we'll take our first break of the second hour. I want to talk about life imaging. Man, oh man. You know, I have heard from so many listeners and met so many people, some friends of mine who have gone to life imaging. And I'm surprised. Friends of mine have told me, yeah, I went over there for the heart scan. I went over there for the cancer scan. And it is amazing to me how many people, including my friends, who have found out about conditions that they had no idea that they've had. You know, here in Florida right now, it's the hot summertime. The heat index is over 100 degrees every day. And, you know, you go out in that hot sun and you're doing good. You figure, I got no problems whatsoever. Someone I know recently went in for their heart scan and found out they had blockage in all of their arteries. Some more than others, but blockage in all of their arteries. And they had no symptoms. Regularly out in the sun, the Florida sun. Regularly out in the Florida humidity. They didn't have any symptoms. And they went to their doctor, and they had it taken care of. Call Life Imaging FLA for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. They have locations in Palm Beach, Broward, Dade, and Orlando. And when you're there, please ask them about their full body cancer screening, as well as their full body virtual colonography, okay? And say goodbye to sedation, because you don't need any sedation for any of that, all right? Again, give them a call, pound 250 on your cell phone, pound 250, say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take our first break of the second hour and be right back.
Every day brings new pressures, new uncertainties, and new reasons to worry. But what if peace isn't found by controlling every situation? What if it's found by learning to trust God more deeply? Author E. Vance offers a practical Bible-centered guide for anyone struggling with anxiety, fear, or the weight of life's uncertainties in Trust, a scripture-forward guide to peace. Available on Amazon. Filled with encouraging scripture, simple prayers, journaling prompts, as well as practical faith-building exercises, this is a book you'll return to whenever life feels overwhelming. Whether you're facing difficult decisions, unexpected challenges, or simply longing for a calmer heart, Trust points you back to the unchanging promises of God and reminds you that His peace is greater than your circumstances. If you're ready to replace worry with confidence and fear with faith, order your copy of Trust, a scripture-forward guide to peace from author E. Vance on Amazon. Your journey towards lasting peace can begin right now. Life can leave us with a lot of questions. Why did this happen to me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And where is God in all of it? If you've ever asked those questions, you need to tune into the Healing Philosophers podcast with The Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Through honest conversations and real-life experiences, each episode explores topics like healing from past hurts, generational karma, letting go of what's holding you back, understanding narcissism, and discovering how God can use even life life's hardest moments for a greater purpose. The Healing Philosophers podcast is about finding hope, growing in your faith, and realizing that your story in every season of your life has meaning. Add the Healing Philosophers podcast to your Spotify playlist, and make sure to share the podcast on all your social media and invite your friends and family to listen in too. Your share could be exactly what someone else needs right now. The Healing Philosophers podcast with the Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Healing starts with one conversation. Listen now on Spotify.
All right, we'll be back in 45 seconds, guys. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll take some calls when we get back. The number's toll free, 888-465-2600. What would you do if you went to Cedar Point or any theme park and it was Muslim Day and everyone's walking around in burqas and everything? What would you do? Would you stay? Would you leave? Would you be frightened? What would you do? I know. I'm pretty scared. All right, stand by. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
You know, is it all right? I know it's not commercial time, but can I say something about the great Mike Lindell?
At My Pillow, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. You know, you just mentioned before he makes great products. Man, I can tell you this. I was talking to a liberal who hates Trump and hates anybody who's not a liberal. And all of a sudden he says, I'll tell you one thing, though, that Mike Lindell knows how to make a product, man. Everything he makes is fantastic. If that guy could say that Mike Lindell is making good stuff, you know, it must be 100% true. And I can tell you, I buy his slip-on sandals, and I have other pairs. And I bought his, the last time I bought them was about 2 years ago. His look like they're brand new. The other ones I have, which are not at my front door, which his are, they look like they're old and falling apart.
Yeah.
But Mike Lindell,
yeah.
Fantastic guy. Everything he makes, I hope he becomes governor.
Everything that Mike Lindell makes is incredibly high quality. So make sure it's promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout at mypillow.com. All right, Doug. So you did your you did your duty. Now you get to talk. I'll be a little loose with what you say.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I was saying about this character you're talking about now, who is running for their governor.
Ahmed, yes, in Michigan.
Yeah. I was saying it used to be not that long ago when you would hear these wackos and everybody go, "Get out of here," you know, and they had no chance. All of a sudden, they're taking over, man. I don't know how they're getting in.
Well, and you know, and this guy here, you know, what he gets away with is insane, right? So he's saddened for, he doesn't want to criticize the Ayatollah because people that are, I want you to think about this now. People that are constituents of him, or possible constituents, possible voters, are mourning the death in Michigan of the Ayatollah Khomeini. So he does, so that, I mean, that's,
unbelievable.
Anybody, you would think that would be, he's a doctor, he's been promoting being a doctor, turns out he's not licensed to practice medicine, so, but he's been going around telling people he's a doctor. He's been promoting his Democrat socialism against the rich. Turns out he makes $700,000 a year. I mean, Democrats get completely free passes. And even Jake Tapper, even though he challenged him a little bit, was a little mild. I mean, everything about this guy is as fraudulent as Graham Plattner's resume. And he's just smooth on sailing.
And it's unbelievable, and they get followers. It used to be like nobody would follow. You get a couple. Maybe,
so what would you do if you went to Cedar Point, Ohio, or another theme park, and it was Muslim Day, and all the women are walking around with burqas on and everything? What would you do? You're there with your family. Would you stay? Would you leave?
I would leave. I wouldn't want to be there because it's just something. I would be worried about terrorism. I wonder. Yeah. I go shopping sometimes and I see people in their birthdays. I go, what's wrong with these people? Why would they want to have a target on there? You know, people do what they want to do sometimes.
Yeah.
And fortunately, they do some nasty things. And when we're having a war going on in Iran and people are against this idea of
well, you know, the
Muslims
thing
taking
with
over.
Ahmed, who's sympathetic to those mourning the death of the Ayatollah. The United States not only is at war with Iran, it is a hot war. There's a new Ayatollah, the Ayatollah's son, they tell us. And so we've got a guy running for the United States Senate who's concerned about, you know, those who are mourning the loss of the leader of the enemy country. They used to put people like that in jail. If you were out there, well, today I want to mourn. We don't want to offend those who are mourning the death of Chancellor Hitler. You'd be right. You'd be in federal prison. All right, Doug. Appreciate the call. All right, let's go here. I've lost track of who's who and who called when. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning,
Hey,
Brian.
Richie.
This is Richie. If I went into an amusement park and saw a bunch of Muslims, I'm going to
Muslim
explain
Day.
something to
It's
you.
Muslim Day at Cedar Point. August 2nd.
I would let me tell you, I did it at Disney World. When I went the second year at Disney World, I was dating a young lady who had 2 children. One was 5 and one was 8. And we didn't know till we actually paid, and she was putting stuff in the locker, and it said, Walt Disney does not endorse this demonstration, and it was Gay Pride Day at the Magic Kingdom, and I immediately left because I don't care what you do, and it's not.
Did they refund your ticket?
They put me in Epcot for the day, and then they sent me three. Then they sent me three-day pass for everybody in the party. On Main Street, there was a line of normal people trying to get the hell out of that park with their kids. So you asked me that question. I've already done it because I don't believe you should take your sex in the street. I'm old-fashioned. What you do in your house is your business. I don't have a phobia against it. I just think it's inappropriate.
But you know, see, but what's
And
happened, Richie? And this is the thing with the Muslim Day at Cedar Point in Ohio. What Gay Days led to was driving families away from Walt Disney World, and that's why there are very few children there now, and there really are. If you look at live streams that people do at Walt Disney World, it is almost all the adults outnumber the children by a lot, and it's because the Gay Days ran them out, and now every day's Gay Day at Disney. Now, if it becomes Muslim Day at Cedar Point, it won't take long for every day to it'll become a Muslim mecca of theme parks in Sandusky, Ohio. And that's a big, important theme park that's like 100 years old.
Yeah, well, they wanted to take that over for the day. They wanted a private situation there. It's a public park. Now, I'm going to say this. I got on after 9/11, I went to Las Vegas with my wife, and we were in a jet plane, and there was a bunch of Muslims that went by us, and the women were with them, and they had their faces covered, everything and I was sitting there, and I never was so nervous, more so they were in back of me, more about them being in back of me. That's not being Islamic phobic. You know why? Because those same people that just ended up in New York City in Broadway got on a microphone and said, this is our city, we're taking over. And they have said that they want to kill Jews and Christians if they don't.
It's called survival. It's called survival, is what it is.
I am not comfortable with people that want to kill me because I'm not a Muslim.
Yeah.
Oh, and but they are not compatible. And I'm sorry for those.
Well, I got to tell you, Richie, I would have gotten off the plane. Even if that was, I would have gotten off.
Yeah, but we were flying already. I mean,
you didn't notice till you were in the. Oh my goodness.
Brian, and they were talking Arabic.
Oh my God! On a plane in the air? That must have been terrifying.
It was a nighttime red eye, and I couldn't sleep. I had my eyes. I kept turning. I kept saying to my wife,
"Yeah, you were afraid you were going to be Beamer. You might have to be Beamer."
I thought we could be hijacked.
Yeah.
And I guess I had that fear in me, and they created that fear.
That's called it's called survival instinct.
They're still creating that fear. They openly say we want to take over the world.
That's right.
So just listen to what they're saying. People, listen. They're telling you what they want to do.
All right, listen. I got to run, Richie, but I appreciate the call. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to talk about Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. You know, if you missed filing your taxes on April 15th, call Jamie Levac. Don't worry. Don't panic. Call Jamie Levac. He'll take care of it for you. If you have past years of taxes that you have not filed, stop worrying. Stop being scared of that certified letter coming. Call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. He will help you. Now, remember, Jamie Levac can help you with your taxes no matter where you're located in the United States. If you owe back taxes to the IRS, call Jamie Levac. He'll look over that and take care of that for you, too. If you've made payment arrangements with the IRS, he'll review that and make sure that what you're paying is right, that you really owe that money. We have one listener who owed money to the IRS. He was making payments. Jamie Levac reviewed his past years and found out that he not only did he not owe money to the IRS, they owed him money, and he got the checks. If you're a business owner, call Jamie Levac. He can help you with your business taxes, including your bookkeeping. And if you're also, in the gig economy, a Lyft driver, Uber driver, DoorDasher, somebody that does, Instacart, you really need an accountant. You're either building up a tax debt or you're paying too much money in taxes. Jamie Levac can help you with that as well. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. So you can call or text 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. That's 954-773-1587 for Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. We'll be right back. Okay, it's our bottom of the hour break, so if you're on hold, stand by, guys, okay? We'll be right back.
Are you retired and wondering what comes next? Your experience still has value. Your passions, hobbies, knowledge, and skills could become the foundation of a profitable online business. At retirementprogram.org, you'll discover a practical internet marketing strategy designed to help everyday people just like you create additional income from what they already know. With retirementprogram.org, you'll learn how to build your very first website, even with no programming experience. Discover the basics of getting your website found on Google. Learn to attract targeted visitors and turn that traffic into revenue. This free step-by-step guide explains how to choose a topic, create useful content, improve your search rankings, and explore proven ways to make money online. Retirementprogram.org isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about investing a little time each week to build something that can grow over time and provide an additional source of income during your retirement. Your dream career may not be behind you. It could be just beginning. Visit retirementprogram.org today and get your free guide, and share the link on all your social media so your retired friends can join in too. That's retirementprogram.org. Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions? You work hard, but feel stuck, exhausted, or disconnected from the life you truly want? It's time to stop surviving and start living. And you can do just that with the book from author Jane Morales Moras, Stop Dragging, Start Living, Reclaim Your Purpose and Power. Available on Amazon. This inspiring and practical guide will help you break free from self-doubt, rediscover your purpose, and build the confidence to create the life you've always dreamed of. With this must-read and life-changing book, you'll discover how to reconnect with your dreams, overcome negativity, build resilience, set healthy boundaries, and align your emotions with your goals so you can finally move forward with clarity and purpose. Whether you're a student, entrepreneur, professional, or simply someone ready for a fresh start, this empowering book provides real-world actionable strategies to help you stop living by other people's expectations and start becoming the person you're meant to be. Your purpose is waiting. Your best life is still ahead of you. Stop dragging. Start living. Reclaim your purpose and power. From author Jane Morales Moras is available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Start your transformation right now and order your copy of Stop Dragging. Start Living. Reclaim your purpose and power on Amazon.
We are back. On the line is Attorney Barry Siegel. We were having a conversation during the break. Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. What do you have for us this week?
Well, one of the things that comes up, I hear from people who come in. I hear from people just in general conversation. I even hear that different professionals such as financial advisors, life insurance agents, CPAs, they all hear the same comment. And the comment is a lot of people think that if they are not mega wealthy, meaning let's say if they're not over the estate tax exemption amount, which is essentially $15 million if you're single or $30 million if you're married, if you're not over that, then you don't need estate planning. And that's actually what some people think. And the thing is, that is completely untrue. What they're really thinking is if they're not over those thresholds or near those thresholds for the estate tax exemption amount, then they may not need estate tax planning, but they still need estate planning. Estate planning is all the things that we talk about, that we've been talking about for years on your show. Avoiding probate, avoiding guardianship, protecting the inheritance for your loved ones so that they not only receive it, but they get to keep it and don't lose it to divorces, lawsuits, creditors, and so on.
Yeah.
And also making sure you have the right people in place to make decisions, even during your incapacity, healthcare decisions, financial decisions, legal decisions, business decisions, all of those things. That's estate planning, and practically everybody out there, everybody listening needs to have that, needs to make sure that they have it and it's up to date because you never know when you're going to need it.
Yeah, I think people confuse the death tax with probate, right? And they think that probate and death tax are the same thing. And and I would think that in many instances, the less people have, the more they need you because they have less to give away to lawyers through the probate process, right? It's a bigger hit on the estate.
Yeah, that's certainly one way of looking at it too. And so what they have, and I don't want to say the little they have, but in comparison to some others, that they need to make sure that doesn't get lost to having to pay it to the lawyers or paying go through the probate process.
If you're a middle class person, the hit from the lawyers will be a bigger in probate will be a bigger hit than if you're worth a few $1 million. You know what I mean? And it's and I bet a lot of families are shocked that they're hit with that probate and they don't even know what's happened. It's got to be really shocking and a burden financially to the family that are left behind.
Yeah, and the burdens not only financially. It's just the mess that's left behind, and really is the legacy that we want to leave behind the last thing that people remember about you and your life and what they had to deal with. Do you want that to be that they had to deal with going to court and lawyers and that you left a mess behind, that you didn't organize your affairs to make things easy for people, or did you make it a mess?
Yeah, well, listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call and schedule your no-charge in-office consultation. And remember, in the month of July, Attorney Barry Siegel is offering $1,000 off for the month of July in honor of America's 250th birthday. The number is toll-free 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week.
All right, Brian, thanks.
All right, take care. All right, we're back, and those of you all hang in there. So just to recap, a lot has been covered on the program today. I was talking about earlier, it is this guy that firebombed the government building yesterday, the federal building in New York, attacking the ICE, is a Kamala Harris voter, not just Antifa. He voted for Kamala Harris. So he is a Democrat. More left-wing political violence going on. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Sean again from California.
Hey, Sean in California.
Yeah, I keep telling people this, even years ago. I have no religion, but most of these people need Jesus, man.
You have no religion? You don't believe in Jesus, but you think people need Jesus?
Yeah, because I don't care if he's holy or not. It doesn't matter. I don't care if he rose from the dead. All I care is about the message he's giving.
What
people,
religion were you? What religion was your family that raised you?
Well, originally I was Catholic because
Okay.
I grew up in a.
So you were raised Christian.
and
You were raised Christian.
We were. I was raised reading the Bible. I was actually giving Bible studies.
So
but
why do you reject Jesus now?
No, I don't reject Jesus. I'm just saying,
You say you have no religion.
I don't have a religion because I don't think religion should be like a basis for everything.
Should be a
But
what?
then again,
Religion shouldn't be a what for everything?
a basis for your let's say spirituality.
Okay. Well, hopefully you'll come back
Anyway,
one day
so
and be saved.
what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, like I'm not afraid of the Muslims. But the only problem I have with the Muslims is that they never deny or denounce what the extremists are saying.
Well, why do you think that? Well, hold on a second. You're talking about like the terror. Why do you think that is? Why do they not denounce the Muslim terrorists?
Because eventually they want the same thing.
Yeah, because
They all want the same thing.
maybe the extremists, the Muslim extremists, really aren't extreme. Maybe they're like the average person in that world.
Well, technically, I know a lot of Muslim people, and most of them are very peaceful. And you have these breakaways of the extremist ones.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, the reason why they're denying it is, number one, they're very tribal. So it's like black people, it's like they're scared to what do you call it? Like when somebody does something and they're kind of denying the fact that it's not because they're black,
Yeah.
They try to protect their tribe.
Mm.
Like,
No,
I don't give a
there's
shit
something
about
completely entirely different going on here. Okay, that clip I played from Ahmed, the Muslim who's running as a Democrat for the Senate in Michigan. He actually was caught saying that he was sympathetic to those in Michigan who were mourning the death of the Ayatollah Khomeini. That's crazy talk.
For me, that's very treasonous, honestly.
Yeah, it is.
You cannot live in America and sympathize with terrorists. And we all know there's
Well, it's not just that he's sympathizing. He is trying to get the vote of those who support the terrorist. He is actively seeking out the vote of terrorist supporters in Michigan. That's what that is. That's crazy. Not all Muslims are terrorists, right? Not all Americans are in the Marine Corps either, but we support the Marines, right? So it's that kind of thing. And that guy, he's gotten Jake Tapper asked him about it, but he didn't push him.
You know why I say this? Because I'm a Filipino, and Filipinos can be very patriotic with their shit too.
Oh my, okay. There we had the first dump of the day, Mike. Oh my goodness. Oh, first dump of the day. We got pretty late into the show. We're coming up on our next break. I'm going to take this break on time while we wait for the delay to re-engage. Okay, how about that? So we'll take this break on time, and the number is toll free 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. And I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. Oh man, did Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire in Margate not set me up? I've been a customer at Friendly Tire, 15 years or more. I was a customer over there long before he sponsored us here on the program. And I was telling you last week, I got 4 brand new tires on my car, brand new. And I got them for less, all 4 tires, I got them for less out the door and on the road than the dealership wanted for 1 tire for the car. That is not an exaggeration. And it was quite a bit less than they wanted for 1 tire. And I got 4 of them. And remember, when I say out the door and on the road, Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or even dispose of your old tires. So when you call Friendly Mike and he gives you a quote over the phone, that's out the door and on the road. He can get you all the name brands you know and love, and like Firestone, Pirelli, Bridgestone, whatever you like. I'm a Firestone guy, but that's just me. Whatever you like. And he can get tires for any type of vehicle as well, including Teslas. And he has thousands of good used tires in stock for as low as $35 a tire. That's out the door and on the road. Brand new tires, out the door and on the road, as low as $75 a tire. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. We'll be right back. All right, guys, hang in there. We'll be back.
Have you ever caught yourself wondering, is this really what life is supposed to be? Work is important. Building a career, providing for your family, and achieving success all matter. But somewhere along the way, many of us become so focused on work that we forget to enjoy the life we're working so hard to build. In the book, I Don't Want to Die Behind My Desk, Stepping Off the Pillar Before You Forget How to Live, available on Amazon, author and knowledge warrior Samuel Colin shares the lessons he's learned from nearly 40 years in emergency services, executive leadership, industrial operations, and his own battle with cancer. This must-read and life-changing book isn't about quitting your job or giving up on success. It's about finding balance again, making time for your family, your faith, your health, and the people and moments that matter most. Whether you're a business owner, executive, first responder, manager, or anyone who's feeling buried under meetings, deadlines, and responsibilities, this book is a reminder that your career should support your life, not become your life. I Don't Want to Die Behind My Desk from author Samuel Colin is available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. Before another year slips by, take a minute and look up I Don't Want to Die Behind My Desk by Samuel Colin on Amazon. Order your copy right now. Are you looking for jewelry that's as unique as you are? Then check out Kita Luxury on Etsy, where every piece is handcrafted with passion, artistry, and the natural beauty of genuine crystals and gemstones. Inspired by a love for one-of-a-kind bohemian designs, Kita Luxury was created with a simple mission to make extraordinary handmade jewelry accessible to everyone. Behind every creation is a talented team of skilled artisans, each bringing their custom expertise to metalwork, stone cutting, beading, and fine jewelry craftsmanship to produce stunning wearable works of art. Whether you're searching for a breathtaking statement necklace, elegant earrings, handcrafted bracelets, beautiful rings, or meaningful jewelry for both men and women, you'll discover pieces that celebrate your individuality and personal style. Every design is carefully handcrafted using high-quality, natural materials, creating jewelry that's more than an accessory. It's a reflection of who you are. Whether you're shopping for yourself or searching for the perfect gift, Kita Luxury offers timeless handcrafted jewelry designed to inspire, delight, and be treated for years to come. These healing crystals are some of the best healing jewelry on Etsy. Visit KetaLuxury.etsy.com. That's KEETA luxury.etsy.com. KetaLuxury.etsy.com. Handcrafted jewelry that tells your story. KetaLuxury.etsy.com.
All right, we'll be back in about a minute, guys, about 1 minute, and we will be back. So hang in there. If you're on hold, stand by. If you want to call in, the number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. And don't forget, guys, please like the video. That helps so much. When you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. All right? And that helps, of course, grow the community. So I appreciate that. Please like the video. And if you get that hype option and you do that, that's a great help too. All right. We got about 30 seconds. We'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. You know, these Democrat socialists that have this civil war going on inside the Democrat Party, you know, the question is, who's going to win? They're going to win, right? I mean, do you have any doubt in your mind that the Democrat Party is in collapse and it's going to be taken over? I mean, look at who you have coming out against them. I saw Governor Cuomo yesterday, Van Jones yesterday. They got all these old-timers in the Democrat establishment that are going up against these young people, and they just don't care. And, I was talking about Ahmed, who's, mourning the death of the Ayatollah. There's this other Democrat socialist in Colorado. You see, they're everywhere. These Democrat socialists, they've targeted safe Democrat districts, and they're not in districts that are going to change the balance of the House yet. But the more of them there are, the more mainstream it'll become. The Squad are Democrat socialist, and there was just a couple of them. And now how many of them are there? So they are, this Democrat socialism is growing, and we know that it's communism. Listen to this. This is a town hall. This is the Democrat socialist that won in Colorado. She's the one who said that 9/11 was the fault of the United States. Remember that? I was talking about her a couple weeks ago when she won. Listen to this.
I think it's particularly important, not just for our community in Tigray, but communities of the global South, period, right? There's a certain reckoning that we are going to have with the global world order as it exists today, and the way that it fundamentally will have to shift going forward, right? The responsibility that we have as Americans, the recognition that is going to be required of us, of the exploitative and extractive nature that we play on the global scale and the global stage, is only going to be challenged if we are getting represented by people who understand that on a fundamental level, right? And that means getting more immigrants into office. That means getting more people who have heritage in the global South into office, because that's where those decisions are made specifically.
Okay, she said, now, I don't know, this is very strange because this is a Democrat socialist town hall that she's at. And she's using words and phrases that I've never heard of before. But I've never heard this term before, the global South. I'm assuming that's south of the American border, right? Yeah, that's exactly what she's talking about here. So she says it's important to get more of these people into office. I've been telling you every show for weeks, if not months, that the United States is being colonized, right? We are being colonized. So the question is, what are we going to do about it? The education system in the country has become 100% anti-American. We know this, right? This used to happen in college. Colleges were notoriously left-wing. People would work their whole life to save up for their kids to go to college. They'd send their kids to college. They'd come back American-hating liberals, right? I mean, there's a long history of that. But what the Democrats did is they expanded the liberal indoctrination centers to the public education system. And public education now is not about reading, writing, and arithmetic. It's about critical race theory and transgender studies and all this stuff, all right? It's like going to a very liberal arts college. And I came across something on TikTok yesterday that it was really frightening. I saw that my wife introduced me to this, and it's a really frightening thing. There's a trend. It is a viral trend on TikTok among Gen Z. Gen Z are the under 30s, okay? Like, say, 27, 28 years old is the upper end of Gen Z. So it's like 30, right? I mean, I was married at that time. I had my first house, and all that. And a daughter, right? I had a child and everything else. So, they're not kids. And this new trend that my wife introduced me to yesterday that is very, very viral among Gen Z, which are the 28 years of age and under. It's called self-curriculum. And what Gen Z are finding, even though they've graduated high school and college, and some of them are even graduates, right? They've gone to graduate school, that they don't know anything, that there's basic things they do not know, right? So what they're doing is they're self-teaching things that you and I used to learn in school. And it could be cursive writing, it could be biology, it could be whatever. And it's a big trend. It's called self-curriculum. And if you're not Gen Z, you may not have heard of it, but you can look it up on TikTok and on social media. And when I saw this, I became fascinated by it because it gave me a lot of hope. Gen Z are very likely to grow up to be conservative, unlike their millennial AOC generation, because they've grown up, graduated college, and realized they can barely read and write. And they're out there reading books and classics that you and I were required to read in school. They've never even heard of before. And that's because the public education system in so many parts of this country has become liberal indoctrination centers where they're graduating out of high school. They're graduating liberal activist is basically what's happening. And when you hear this girl talk, she's using words and phrases that I've never heard before. The global South and overtaking, and we need to get more people from the global South into elected office. Yeah, that's just what we need. Third world people coming to the first world and telling us we're the first world because we know how to do things. They're the third world because they don't. And and what she's saying in plain English is we need more third world people coming to the United States and getting elected to office and tell these first world people how the world really should be run. Is that really what you want to do? You want to take people from unsuccessful societies, bring them to our successful society, and start modeling what we do here by their third world country? I don't think so. But that's what's going on here. And it's a really scary world. But this self-curriculum thing that I came across yesterday on TikTok gave me hope about Gen Z. The millennials are lost, okay? JD Vance is a millennial, but they're basically lost. All right, those of you who want to hold stand by, if you'd like to call in, the number is toll free 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. I want to talk about those of you who are suffering from neuropathy or have a family member who are suffering from neuropathy. You want to call Lighthouse Medical Center. If you mention the Steve Kane Show, it is a no-charge consultation. They can rid you of your neuropathy, and they can rid you of it forever. You can get your life back. I've seen it not just with Steve Kane, but with many people in this audience, okay? If your life is not what you think it should be because you're dizzy, you're falling down, you have the burning and tingling in your hands and feet, you're suffering, the feeling of pins and needles, you're going nuts, your primary care physician, maybe even your neurologist has said there's no treatment for neuropathy. That is not true. Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy. It's a treatment that works. I've seen it work in many, many people. It is amazing. Get your life back. Be able to travel. Be able to go out to dinner. Be able to golf again. Be able to take a vacation. Stop suffering. Be able just to get out of bed. Be able to walk without the fear of falling down. So many people, when they're older, have balance issues and are falling down. Is that you? You very well may have neuropathy. Give Lighthouse Medical Center a call. Again, mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show and take advantage of the no-charge consultation. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. That's lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. We'll take our break for the top of the hour and be back with more of your calls after this.
What happens when a group of complete strangers are thrown together and forced to rely on each other? Find out in the new book from author Helen MacArthur, Super Route 7, Ride or Die, available on Amazon. This darkly funny novel takes readers on a journey filled with unforgettable characters, unexpected twists, unlikely friendships, and the kind of secrets people spend their lives trying to hide. Written by veteran journalist and magazine writer Helen MacArthur, Super Route 7 blends humor, heartbreak, suspense, and sharp observations about the choices we make and the baggage we carry with us. If you enjoy character-driven stories with wit, mystery, and plenty of surprises along the way, Super Route 7 is a ride you'll want to take. Super Route 7, Ride or Die, from author Helen MacArthur, is available right now on Amazon and free with Kindle Unlimited. Get on board and order your copy right now. Life can leave us with a lot of questions. Why did this happen to me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And where is God in all of it? If you've ever asked those questions, you need to tune into the Healing Philosophers podcast with The Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Through honest conversations and real-life experiences, each episode explores topics like healing from past hurts, generational karma, letting go of what's holding you back, understanding narcissism, and discovering how God can use even life's hardest moments for a greater purpose. The Healing Philosophers podcast is about finding hope, growing in your faith, and realizing that your story and every season of your life has meaning. Add the Healing Philosophers podcast to your Spotify playlist and make sure to share the podcast on all your social media and invite your friends and family to listen in too. Your share could be exactly what someone else needs right now. The Healing Philosophers podcast with the Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Healing starts with one conversation. Listen now on Spotify. What if you could have a professional website online in just 60 seconds for less than $1? You can with forless.ai. That's FOR less.ai. Forless.ai is the fastest and easiest way to build a beautiful website using the power of artificial intelligence. With forless.ai, there's no coding, no designers, and no complicated software. Simply go to forless.ai. Describe your business or idea in plain English. And forless.ai automatically generates a complete, ready-to-publish website in seconds. Whether you're starting a small business, promoting your services, launching a side hustle, or building your personal brand, forless.ai gets you online quickly, affordably, and professionally. Spend less time building and more time growing your business. Build your website in just 60 seconds for less than $1. Visit forless.ai right now. That's FOR less.ai. Forless.ai. Less time, less effort, more results. Forless.ai.
All right, we'll be back in about 35 seconds, guys. All right, 10 seconds. All right. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. It's Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Okay, so just to recap where I started in the first hour, the firebomber who firebombed the federal building in New York City, where ICE is located, is a Democrat. He's not just an Antifa anarchist. He's a Democrat who voted for Kamala Harris. He's been an activist for every liberal cause of the last decade or so, from climate change to this and everything in between. All right? And you know, in America, with our free speech rights that were guaranteed by the First Amendment, there are limitations, okay? You cannot incite violence. And this lunatic that did what he did yesterday in New York City was incited by most every liberal. You know, I played earlier, Mom Donnie, the mayor of New York City, said that ICE is a rogue organization that should be abolished. Rogue means outlaw. This is MS Now, lowly rated network that used to be known as MSNBC. This is Alex Wagner, liberal on MS Now.
Rule of law is not the goal here, Katie. Making life terrifying and making communities fearful enough that they either shut themselves off or go back home is the point here. I mean, that's why they don't want to make ICE detentions more sane or more targeted or more safe. The instilling fear and the threat of violence is the essence of the policy of this administration. So we should not hold out any hope that they're going to try and fix the system. I mean, all of this, which we see as collateral damage, is in fact the focus. Recruit as many people as you can. Who cares what their backgrounds are? Just use them as effectively, like our guest earlier in this hour, Stuart Stevens, says, as part of a roving death squad to make life hell for black and brown people in this country. That is the point. That is the immigration policy of the Trump administration.
Okay, so, yeah, I know. That's Alex Wagner on MS Now. That was just a few days ago. And this was a discussion they were having about these ICE-involved shootings, right? So she said they're roving death squads talking about ICE. You know, if you're running around and your mainstream people are calling ICE a rogue organization that needs to be abolished, which means they're outlaws that aren't answering anyone, right? That's Mamdani. Here's MS Now saying that they're roving death squads targeting black and brown people. You know, what happens, you plant, you know, they have people that are liberal, all right? People that are liberal, that's all they hear. They live in this bubble, and that's their reality. I was talking to a caller a week or two ago on the program that everyone in my family is MAGA except one person. And I see them once or twice a year, Thanksgiving or Christmas or something, and we'll have like Thanksgiving dinner at my house or something, or Christmas dinner or a birthday, and they come over. And my wife always tells me, don't bring up politics. And I'm like, no problem, because I know they always will. They can't stand it, right? And they bring up things that I've never heard of before that are so important. They'll bring up a name, right? And I've never heard the name. And they'll say, you know, well, what about John Jacobs? And he's facing jail because of what? I'm like, who's this? You know, the liberal activist, all they listen to is MS Now, CNN, MSNBC, these voices. And what they're hearing from these voices is that ICE agents are rogue people with guns that are hunting down and murdering black and brown people. And that becomes their reality. So what happens? They're inciting violence is what they're doing. You know, and this guy in New York yesterday, it is a miracle that he didn't kill someone. He hurt a few people, but no one was seriously injured or killed. I saw when he lit that fire. I can't believe he didn't light himself on fire. You know, you pour a chemical like that and then you light it on fire, the fumes are around. Those can ignite too. He's a very lucky guy, and he was stupid what he did. And I'm not clearing him of his terrorism, because that was domestic terrorism, and he will go to prison for that. But he was incited to that violence by the American left. And you know what? Their rhetoric against ICE isn't going to cool off after this. It's going to continue to grow. And when you saw the press conference yesterday with the FBI and that very strange lady who's the police commissioner, did you see her? She's a very strange woman, that police commissioner in New York City. But he confessed everything he did and was proud of what he did, and even told the FBI agents and the Homeland Security officers that that grabbed him that he had no problem if he hurt people, especially ICE agents, right? Because they're hearing nothing from the left other than ICE are rogue squads that are death squads. So if you're going up against a rogue unit of armed death squads that are roving and driving through the streets of America, and you intervene and stop them, have you done something wrong? Well, yeah, because they're not that, but they don't think that. They have an alt reality. Here's Don Lemon. Did an interview, okay? And listen to Don Lemon. He's talking about all this and Trump.
You think that once Donald Trump is gone, it's the end of MAGA? I don't know if it's the end of that sort of attitude. I mean, the MAGA is the closest thing to the modern version of a Nazi party. This is America's version. It's the closest thing without the...
See, now when he says, you see, again, another Nazi. Now, again, this was before the firebombing of the federal building yesterday. But when he talks about a Nazi party, what he's talking about is the deportations. ICE rounding up illegals and deporting them, right? There's been these deportation planes of Haitians deporting Haitians to Haiti. I saw the planes yesterday after the show. He's comparing that to the trains to Auschwitz, right?
It's the closest thing without the Holocaust and all that stuff.
Oh, wow.
That sort of mindset. That's what MAGA is, because most intelligent people or logical people, when they get new information, and if that information is negative or not factual, then they change their minds. They go, oh, well, I wish I had known better, and now that I have this information, then I can readjust. No matter what no matter how many facts and how much information you give them about this presidency, about the policies, they don't change their minds, because they're really not voting for the price of eggs. They're voting for white supremacy.
Oh my goodness! And in his mind, see, you understand what I'm saying? So, and if you didn't notice, the guy yesterday that firebombed the federal building, attacking ICE yesterday, he was not white, even though the New York Times reported that he was. The MAGA movement's about white supremacy. See, so everywhere you go from the left, this is what you're hearing, right? They are inciting violence. Renee Good is dead because of these people. This firebombing happened because of these people, right? The terrorist attack at the UFC fight that was stopped is because of these Democrats in media and in government.
They're voting for power. They're voting to have a preeminent voice. They're afraid they've been co-opted by many people in the Republican Party and Donald Trump to think that their failures are due to something else, the other, the black person, the woman, the Latino, the immigrant, the migrant. That person is taking your job.
This is crazy. You know, what he's doing is he's taking the rhetoric that Hitler and the Nazis used to build up their political party in the 1920s and 30s and is applying that to MAGA. None of this is true. I mean, there are illegals that do have jobs, but see the perversion that's going on here? Free speech ends when you're inciting violence against others. And all of these people, Don Lemon here, Alex Wagner on MS Now, Mamdani in New York, and they're not alone. It's almost all of them are inciting violence, and they don't even care that they're inciting violence. All right. I want to talk about Sloman's central air conditioning. Oh, my goodness. Has this been a hot summer? This is one of the hottest summers in years. It really is. It feels that way, at least. I mean, I go to check my mail in the afternoon. I come back. I'm soaked. But when I walk back in that front door, nothing feels better than having ice-cold air conditioning in your house, right? If you have an air conditioning that's blowing hot air, not cooling your house properly, maybe it's running all day. Shouldn't do that. Or you have rooms in your house that never cool, call Sloman Central Air Conditioning. You can get a great deal. Listen to this. A high-efficiency 5-ton 18-SEER system that uses R454B refrigerant, just $59.99 with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for 18 months. Plus, your new AC system comes with a 5-year bumper-to-bumper service plan that includes annual system maintenance, filter replacement, and refrigerant, so you don't have any annual maintenance fees. And also, you'll receive the Sloman Shield home security system installed with 5 years of professional central station monitoring included with your AC package. Give them a call right now, 561-217-COOL. 561-217-7600. COOL. 561-217-COOL. We'll be right back.
My Pillow's second annual mega sale is finally here. Get our patented premium My Pillows that adjust to your exact individual needs to give you the best sleep of your life.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
Now for the lowest price ever. Kings, $19.98. Queens, only $18.98. And Giza Dream bed sheets, the best sheets in history, for as low as $29.98. Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, towels that actually dry you. What a concept! Now only $39.98. And our made in the USA mattresses and mattress toppers as low as $99.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But that's not all. Order right now and we'll ship your order absolutely free.
What if the place you called home wasn't a home at all? From author James Kramer comes a powerful true story of survival, resilience, faith, and hope. The Boy in the Barn, available on Amazon. Growing up in the 1960s, James lived through circumstances no child should ever have to face. Behind the appearance of a normal family was a hidden reality, one of hardship, isolation, and painful secrets that few people ever saw. The Boy in the Barn is a story about the strength of the human spirit, a story about finding light in the darkest places, about perseverance, healing, and the life-changing power of faith and forgiveness. Through every challenge, James found reasons to keep moving forward, guided by God's grace and the kindness of people who became bright lights along his journey. Honest, inspiring, and deeply moving, The Boy in the Barn is a memoir that will stay with you. Discover the remarkable true story of one man's journey from darkness toward hope in The Boy in the Barn from author James Kramer, available on Amazon and Kindle and paperback.
All right, hang in there, guys. We have 35 seconds, and we'll be back. I'll go to the phones, and if you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free. It's pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. 20 seconds, and we'll be back. I'm using these new headphones a listener sent me. They weigh about a quarter of what my old headphones weigh. Much more comfortable. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Debbie. I'm calling from South Georgia.
Hey, Debbie.
I'm listening on YouTube, but all of your clips cannot be heard.
No, if you go to my other feed, you can hear them all. Go to my other YouTube feed, you can hear them all. All right? Take care. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up, man? This is Ronan again, man. You gonna let me talk to you?
Well,
how you doing, sir?
You're welcome to call in and have a conversation.
I've been trying, man. You keep hanging up on me. I don't know why.
Well, let's see how it goes. What's on your mind?
Well, let's see how it goes, man. See if you're gonna hang up on me this time. So, this is my question for you today. You know, the new news is we got 50% tariffs on Canada.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So it's just crazy how these moves that he keeps doing is impacting us, but the money he's spending isn't necessarily impacting us as much.
Well,
the money.
Where are you calling me from? Where are you calling me from?
I'm from Michigan.
You're from Michigan. Well, you're close to Canada. You know?
Yeah, I know.
And right now, you may have noticed the United States, for the past few days, has been under attack by Canada yet again. They're attacking us. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Some of the wildfires?
Well, the wildfires in Canada, the smoke is blowing south of the border, into the northern part of the United States. And this has become an annual attack by Canada that they refuse to do anything about.
Okay. I wouldn't necessarily call it.
Well, no, you're wondering. Okay, so I know you're confused, right? You're wondering, well, how can they stop forest fires, right?
No. That's not what I'm confused about. What I'm confused about is if we're already at war and gas prices are high, we get a lot of gas. We get a lot of gas.
Let me finish about Canada. The reason that there's forest fires in Canada is because they've got these wackadoodle liberal idiots like the people that run California, and they refuse to clean up the brush in the forest over some environmental wackadoodle stuff. And what that does is cause kindling, and every year there's massive fires that burn and poison the lungs of Americans. And we're under attack by Canada, and they refuse to do anything about it. So why doesn't that bother you? There are people they can't breathe. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day in New Jersey, and he was telling me he was choking on the smoke. Why doesn't that bother you?
Well, there's it's a little deeper than that. I understand what you're talking about.
Oh, so you agree?
There's more than one. There's more than one element. You have elements of them trying to preserve certain areas of forest. So
what's more important, people or forest?
Well, that's one aspect. The other
no, not an aspect. What is more important, the life of a tree or the life of a human being? Which is more important to you?
You have to see deeper than that. We need trees and we need people.
No. I said which life is more important, the life of a tree or the life of a person? He's thinking about it. You have to think about that?
I mean, what's more important?
A person, a human. A human is more important than a tree, right?
Okay, but this is the rabbit hole you go down. You say, what's more important, the life of a person or life of a tree?
Correct.
A person. So
but you didn't say that. I had to say it.
No. What I'm saying is, so now it's like, forget trees, cut them down whenever we need to.
Yes.
Because people's lives are more important.
Well, clean up the kindling in the forest that is bursting into flames every year and poisoning Americans with smoke.
Right, but there's another element to forest fires too.
Really? What's that?
And that's corporate companies hire people to start fires so they can clear land and have more land.
Well, that may have happened in Malibu, and that may have happened in Hawaii. Wherever you have Democrats, it seems to me, wherever liberals are running places, they have fires. Liberals run Maui, there's fires. Liberals run California, we have fires. Liberals run Canada, we have fires. What place is run by conservative Republicans that has fires like this?
It's part of having forests, sir.
There's trees everywhere. There's trees everywhere.
If we had people that were more environmentally conscious.
No, but don't you see the pattern? There seems to only be mass fire incidents regularly where Democrats are running things. So are Democrats arsonists?
That's where the forests that catch on fire.
There's no forest where Republicans rule?
It happened when Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor too.
Yeah,
it happened there too.
No,
so it's not just. It's not because of the fact there's Democrats.
He was not a conservative. He's a liberal Republican.
Who cares? He's a Republican.
He's a liberal. Schwarzenegger is a liberal. He was a liberal Republican.
Listen, all I'm saying is he's a Republican.
And that was a long time. That was like 20 years ago.
There was still fires then.
We have three recent fires: Maui, Malibu, and Canada. All liberal.
You're changing the subject.
No.
Okay, my question was the tariffs.
Yeah, well,
why are we putting tariffs? Well, hold on, let me finish my question, sir. If we're putting tariffs on Canada, what other places are we going to get oil from? You see what I'm saying? Venezuela is the only
the
other
United
place.
States. We don't need oil from Canada.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't. We have more oil than they have.
We have, then why is it one of our major imports?
Because liberals over the years because liberals over the years have stopped the building of refineries and oil wells. You know, Republicans have been trying to get oil drilling in Anwar for 25 years, and conservatives have, and liberals are always stopping drilling for oil in Alaska and other places.
Brian,
that's why.
Brian, I understand that.
There's another reason too, and this is a really important. Are you back with me? Did I lose you? Okay, I got my lines on. Are you with me? Did I lose you? Okay. There's another reason too. You asked a good question, right? Why is there a gasoline shortage? You know, and there's a number. I'm going to answer. No, excuse me.
I didn't say that.
Why you said we need oil from there? I'm answering the question. Why are we importing?
Sir,
I'm telling you.
Brian, why do you do this? I didn't say that. Can I clarify?
Clarify.
This is a debate.
Clarify, and
right?
then I'll answer. Go ahead, clarify.
Why are we using putting tariffs on Canada when we're getting 25% of our oil that we get is from them?
Well, because
25%.
a lot of reasons, which I'll answer in a moment. But one of the reasons we have to import oil and other gasoline and even refined gasoline isn't just because Democrats have stopped us from drilling for oil and building new refineries. Different states have different laws on the formula of gasoline. Like you're in, where are you calling me from again? I forgot. You're in
Michigan, where the tariff.
Okay, you're in Michigan. You're in Michigan. You know, the gasoline that you have at gas stations in Michigan and the gasoline that I have at gas stations down the street from my house here in Florida can't be sold in California because they have different requirements. There's about 30 different types of gasoline formulas that are required in different states because of these liberal wackadoodle environmental laws over gasoline. That's why we're importing oil and gas.
Why do you keep insulting liberals? Who cares about?
Because most every problem in the world is something that liberals have given us.
I don't care about liberals.
Well, I do.
I don't care.
They're destroying us.
I don't care about liberals. I don't care about any label.
You are a liberal. But you are a liberal.
No, I'm just asking a simple question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, why would we put tariffs on
and I've
oil
answered the question. I answer
the
questions. You don't like the answers, so you repeat it again for emphasis, and then claim that I'm not answering the question. Listen, I gotta take a break for the bottom of the hour, but I appreciate the call. Well, no, it's a commercial break. This is capitalism, man. This is capitalism. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back.
Life can leave us with a lot of questions. Why did this happen to me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And where is God in all of it? If you've ever asked those questions, you need to tune into the Healing Philosophers podcast with The Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Through honest conversations and real-life experiences, each episode explores topics like healing from past hurts, generational karma, letting go of what's holding you back, understanding narcissism, and discovering how God can use even life's hardest moments for a greater purpose. The Healing Philosophers podcast is about finding hope, growing in your faith, and realizing that your story and every season of your life has meaning. Add the Healing Philosophers podcast to your Spotify playlist and make sure to share the podcast on all your social media and invite your friends and family to listen in too. Your share could be exactly what someone else needs right now. The Healing Philosophers podcast with the Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Healing starts with one conversation. Listen now on Spotify. Have you ever caught yourself wondering, is this really what life is supposed to be? Work is important. Building a career, providing for your family, and achieving success all matter. But somewhere along the way, many of us become so focused on work that we forget to enjoy the life we're working so hard to build. In the book, I Don't Want to Die Behind My Desk, Stepping Off the Pillar Before You Forget How to Live, available on Amazon, author and knowledge warrior Samuel Colin shares the lessons he's learned from nearly 40 years years in emergency services, executive leadership, industrial operations, and his own battle with cancer. This must-read and life-changing book isn't about quitting your job or giving up on success. It's about finding balance again, making time for your family, your faith, your health, and the people and moments that matter most. Whether you're a business owner, executive, first responder, manager, or anyone who's feeling buried under meetings, deadlines, and responsibilities, this book is a reminder that your career should support your life, not become your life. I Don't Want to Die Behind My Desk from author Samuel Colin is available right now on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. Before another year slips by, take a minute and look up I Don't Want to Die Behind My Desk by Samuel Colin on Amazon. Order your copy right now.
All right, we'll be back in about 40 seconds, guys. Stand by. The show has flown by. It really has. Yeah, my other headphones were so heavy that sometimes my neck would hurt after the show. And a listener sent me these like a year or so ago. They're great. Howard Stern wears these headphones. A lot of people do. They weigh just a fraction of my other ones, and they're so light. No more neck pain with these. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Welcome back, everyone. One thing that really it blows my mind with liberals when they're talking about tariffs. Tariffs are taxes, right? Import taxes. Except for tariffs, import taxes, when have you ever heard liberals, when have you ever heard Democrats argue about the evils of taxation, right? And, this is what really blows my mind about this. Like right now, here in the state of Florida, on our ballot in November, will be the elimination of Florida's property tax on your homesteaded property. So this is the home where you have homestead. So if you own two houses, only the one you have homestead on will you have a tax-free home. And Democrats are telling us, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. I've never, Attorney Barry Siegel was talking about the death tax, which we did raise years ago, at what level you get penalized. But remember, the Democrats fought against that. The big, beautiful bill that the president passed, which was the largest tax cut in history, right, made most of the Trump tax cuts from the first term permanent. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Social Security got the biggest tax deduction in history. Shouldn't even be taxed on Social Security at all. But look at the Democrats fought against that. And then they tell us, it's like the last caller. This is the funny part to me. And they don't even see the hypocrisy, okay? And I'll tell you in a moment why President Trump put this import tax on Canada, which it's really not. I'll tell you about it in a moment. But when you hear liberals argue against the tariffs, they never say the import tax, right? They always say tariffs. They use that language. It's like when abortion, before President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade, and we would debate abortion, right? And we that are pro-life always talk about the baby growing inside the womb. They would never say baby. They would always say fetus, which I think is Latin for child. I could be wrong, but it's Latin because they didn't want to say baby because it makes it sound like what it is. Liberals say tariffs, not import taxes, because they can't get themselves to say something negative about a tax, right? Even though they are. And when you hear them arguing against tariffs, like you're going to hear a lot of them talk about these tariffs on Canada that the president is ordering. The arguments they make against tariffs are the arguments that we make against taxes all the time, right? A tax is passed on to the consumer. So if you tax a company, they're not paying the tax. They're going to raise their prices, right? Well, I've never heard liberals be anti-tax except for the taxing of foreign countries. So President Trump's taxes, it's a 50% tariff, a 50% import tax on a whole bunch of products, right? the reason he's ordering that and signing that and raising that is because Canada is overtaxing us on those same products and many others. And they refuse to lower their taxes on our imported goods. That's why. But they're not being taxed. He ordered it to go into effect in 30 days, not immediately. So why did President Trump do that? To give the Canadians an opportunity to do the right thing and lower their taxes on us, and then this will not happen. It's a negotiation tactic. But when President Trump came into his second term and started talking about tariffs, and liberals first started calling us about it, it was so strange. I'm used to it now, but at first it was very strange to hear Democrats argue against taxes. You know, like this ending of the property taxes on homestead exemptions. When we get close to the election, that's all they're going to talk about. In fact, Byron Donalds, who was the front runner by far, there's 4 people running for governor in the Republican primary. They're all in single digits, pretty much, and the 1 or 2 that aren't are like 11. Byron Donalds is at least 50%, maybe a little higher. So it's going to be Byron Donalds versus some Democrat. And Byron has, of course, the endorsement of the president. I'm going to vote for Byron Donalds in the primary. But I hope that Byron Donalds makes a big part of his campaign is voting in favor of eliminating the property taxes on homesteaded property. And what happens, this happens, even if they did it for retirees that are 65 years old, I'd be happy. I'll be 65 in 10 years. I'll suffer through them. But what happens is people in Florida, they either move to Florida, they sell their house up north and pay cash for a house, or they're paying their mortgage, they're all excited, they pay their mortgage off, and they find out what? They're still making a huge payment, right? Because your mortgage payment, usually, most people that have a mortgaged home, you still have homeowner's insurance, you've got your mortgage, your homeowner's insurance, and your property taxes, right? And most people that have a mortgage, all 3 of those are bundled into their mortgage. And, you know, homeowner's insurance has gone through the roof. It's disgusting how high homeowner's insurance is, okay? But when people pay off their mortgage, they're shocked at how much they're still paying because they have the property taxes and the insurance. And if you look at your mortgage statement, all right, you pull up your mortgage statement, you look at your mortgage statement. For so many Floridians, the smallest part of their mortgage payment is the actual mortgage payment. The taxes, right, and the insurance are a bigger part than the actual mortgage payment. And it's such a burden on seniors. You know, my mother's retired, you know, and you know, she's lived in the same house for 40 years, but, you know, the taxes are pretty high. You know, and there's a lot of seniors that are in that position. So you watch, when we get close to Election Day, how the Democrats are in a panic over the property tax elimination. And it's only on homesteaded properties. So commercial property will still have their taxes. People that have second homes will still have their taxes. Airbnbs will still have their taxes. The tourist tax. It's only on homesteaded property. And I'm a strong supporter of eliminating it. Unfortunately, we have to have 60% of people vote in favor of it, which is very difficult because it's got to be a change to the Florida state constitution. The taxes are done at the county level. That's why. Okay, so to get 60%, you know, because most Democrats that are homeowners that are paying property taxes more than I'm paying, they'll think it's their civic duty to pay, and they would vote to raise their property taxes. They're so stupid and self-righteous. You know, and virtue signaling all the time. So it's a tough thing to pass. But when it comes to the tariffs, all of a sudden taxes are bad. I'm against all taxes, really. You know, except that the whole country could be run off of tariffs if we didn't have so many Somali pirates and Democrats around the country stealing all the tax money. And everybody knows this. But you know, people are waking up. Did you see this interview with Bill Maher with that creep Jonathan Karl on ABC over the weekend. I'm going to play a couple clips. This is Bill Maher talking to Jonathan Karl on ABC's This Week.
Democrats are cowardly. Yeah.
He's talking about the Democratic Socialist.
Democrats are cowardly. Yeah. They're cowardly. Their party is being taken over now by, every day I hear about a new, very radical. I feel very good about, like 10 whenever years ago, like I did lose fans because, I wasn't going to go along with some of this crazy stuff on the left, too. I didn't change really on what I thought about the right, but I can't sit and just not notice stuff, which people seem to want to do because it's all about my team or your team. But, there's some crazy stuff, when we're cheering for the Intifada, I gotta cut, I'm out.
Well, I don't know if you saw Jay Clayton.
Okay, yeah, exactly. But the problem is the Democratic Socialists don't care. And Jonathan Karl doesn't care either. Let me play this one more clip and we'll talk a little bit about it. This is, again, Jonathan Karl from ABC interviewing Bill Maher.
You told J.D. Vance you're open, your vote is up for grabs.
Yes, my vote is in play because it can't be Trump running. Mm-hmm. So I'm not living in communist America. I mean, I know the talking point is that, well, it's not communism, it's socialism. Okay, I've read the quotes from the DSA platform, from their own mouths. Don't tell me I'm not seeing what I am seeing. And DSA, again, they say things like, takeover of key industries, government. That's communism.
Yeah, that's communism. And, and that if you watch the full interview, Jonathan Karl, every time Bill Maher gives one of these answers, he pivots away. Jonathan Karl hates Trump like the plague. Although I got to come up with a new expression because Democrats love plagues, right? They can get their bidding done with them. But Jonathan Karl got in a little trouble with Judge Jeanine because he was committing vandalism, right? Remember, he pulled up the stuff off to the reflecting pool. He pulled up the bottom a little bit to do his story, and they were looking into charging him. So he's on this vindictive tour against everything Trump. But here you have one of the most prominent, outspoken Democrats in all of media, Bill Maher, whose show on HBO is one of the political shows of record. It's like Meet the Press used to be when Tim Russert was doing it. He's talking about switching and voting for a Republican, not just a Republican, but a hardcore Republican Christian, J.D. Vance, who has a book out about being a Christian and his walk with Christ out right now. That's why he was on his show. And he's talking about voting Republican, and Jonathan Karl doesn't even want to talk about it, right? It's insane. Now, I'll tell you what I want to talk about. I want to talk about people that are suffering in pain that shouldn't be because you haven't gone to see Dr. Appleton. When Jupiter Joe Thomas was in studio with me on Friday, Jupiter Joe took his wife to see Dr. Appleton the Saturday before. She was in pain. She had some issues with her legs. And Jupiter Joe Thomas said that his wife saw relief after the very first treatment with Dr. Philip Appleton and his robotic laser wave pain treatment. I told you guys it works. He's rid me of pain 7 times. And because the robotic laser repairs the damage causing the pain, none of the pains have returned. If you're suffering from arthritis, bronchial neuralgia, bursitis, hip pain, knee pain, leg pain, lumbar pain, muscular contraction, sciatica, strains and sprains, tinnitus, tennis elbow, neck pain, stenosis. Maybe I got to change tennis elbow to pickleball elbow. If you're suffering from any type of pain in any part of your body, go see Dr. Appleton. The consultation is free. Let Dr. Appleton tell you how he can rid you of pain too. If you have scans, if you have x-rays, bring them with you. Dr. Appleton will gladly look them over. Not only is the consultation free, appointments are not necessary even on Saturdays. Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. All right, we'll take our last break, come back with the Gold Report. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. My name is...
Big way. This is a disaster for them.
At least you got a couple of people who at least will think for themselves and voice their opinions and say, I'm not going to just go run along this because the hierarchy in the Democratic Party are going to do this. This whole thing, this whole movement they have is in a I don't want to say abomination, but at least Bill Maher's thinking for himself and saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm not going to go along with this. This is ridiculous. Their policy, even as Platinum was running, and some of the replacements they wanted to pop in there to get to run for his position in Maine. This is so pathetic. It's so pathetic. Any right-thinking person would just look at it and say, well, we can't vote for this.
Well, the Democrats have a lot of problems, all right, and one of those problems is so many people have been red-pilled that they have slim pickings to recruit from. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you see one of those guys that wanted to run for a Platinum seat for the Democratic Party. Are they kidding me? I mean, I thought.
Well, there's one that we had a couple of winners, right? We had the transgender person who says, "I just want to be able to go to the bathroom," and then this guy was talking about a moment ago, who hurled a water bottle at a female legislator about 5 years ago. I mean, I really think is the people that are truly left as Democrats are the freaks and the geeks, right? I mean, the people that are left are the degenerates and losers.
This is like the core group of the Democratic Party. And did you see? I just got Donald Mahn's interview when he's being interviewed. There's another one that's off on the space camp or something. They're way out there, way out there. They're so far gone out to the left there. I don't even think they can be reeled back to make them a viable political party down the road.
Mm-hmm.
They got to have some semblance of common sense and something that people can vote for.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not voting for just vote for it's the Communist Party. Why don't they just say it?
Well, this story this is an interesting thing in Maine. This guy in Maine, who's the front runner to replace Plattner, a female former legislator, said that he threw a water bottle at her when they were in a debate among other legislators. This is right after they ran Graham Plattner out, not for the Nazism, but he was accused of rape, right? So, I mean, and I'm curious to see how the media handle this. Are they going to give the nomination to this guy who is being accused of abusing a woman, or the transgendered guy who says he just wants to be able to use the public bathrooms?
Well, and the other guy who they're replacing, he was charged with rape in that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is this a requirement to run for public office? Got to be attacking women?
Yes.
This is like this is new
it's a
platform
requirement.
to run on?
It's a requirement. What's going on with the Democrat Party these days, and I know it's a lot of fun, and in the short term we're going to waltz into a victory. It looks like in the midterms, but these Democrat socialists aren't into winning the election. They're into destroying the Democrat Party and overtaking it from within. And a Democrat defeat might entrench these socialist communists a little more into their party. I don't know. We'll find out.
So they think that's going to be the replacement.
It seems that way. It seems that way to me. But this front runner in Maine throwing the bottle at the woman, it really amazes me the level. I mean, look at what happened to what's his name? The comedian Al Franken. Al Franken was a sitting senator and resigned over that photograph and joke that he made. He must be regretting that so much, because these Democrats out there they're having sex with spies. They're throwing water bottles at women, and they're still welcome.
Can we say that this is a high probability this strategy is going to backfire?
I would say that it already has. All right, listen, I appreciate the call. All right, you take care.
Okay, Brian.
All right, the rest of you on hold, you hang in there. I want to talk about Friendly Tire in Margate. Friendly Tire in Margate's absolutely amazing. They have been with us on this program, I don't know, 10 years? They've been with us on the program, and I've been a customer much longer than that. You can get new tires out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. That's absolutely amazing. That's right, as low as $75 a tire. That's brand new tires out the door and on the road. And when I say out the door and on the road, what that means is That's it. Whatever price Mike tells you over the phone, that's the price, because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or even dispose of your old tire. He has thousands of good used tires in stock, as low as $35 a tire. That's out the door and on the road too. He also does tire repairs, which other places do not do. If you have a Tesla or another EV, get you great deals on those. He has the special tools needed for the Tesla tires. That's right. And if you have run flats, holy smokes, the deals on run flats will blow your mind, okay? But no matter what type of vehicle you have, he can get the tires for it, and he can get all the name brand tires that you know and love as well. Give Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. Did I say he does tire repairs? I think I did. And that's a big deal. Other tire shops around, they do not do repairs, but Friendly Mike does. His number, give him a call. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate. All right, well, that's about all the time we have for today. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll take your call first thing tomorrow at 6 a.m. But I did cover a lot today, and I only got maybe 15%, if that much, of my show prep. But we'll be back tomorrow. There's a lot of developing stories coming. I was just looking during the break, the president's meeting with the president of Lebanon, so he's trying to get that situation under control. But if you noticed, the firebombing by that liberal Democrat Antifa terrorist at the government federal building against ICE in New York City, it's already gone from the news. Just like all these assassination attempts and these other liberal acts of violence. I knew they would disappear that from the news, but, you know, that's what the media do because it's one of their own. If that guy was MAGA, the entire media, it'd be breaking news at the top and bottom of every hour, and it would be the entire dialogue in all of the news for weeks. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. God bless America. Have a great day, and we'll see you first thing tomorrow morning. Take care, everyone. All right, guys. Do me the favor, if you're new, welcome, okay? And subscribe, okay? And everyone, please like the video, guys. When you like the video, it gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please like the video, all right? I'll see you guys later today. Take care.